Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Sunday morning. The Raptors lost the Minnesota Timberwolves. Bad game last night in their first road game of the season. Yeah, the Timberwolves were healthy. The Timberwolves are a great Western team, and well, c'est la vie. The progress is going to be arduous, and it's going to take some time to figure out how to cut down turnovers for this Toronto Raptors team. We've had the most turnovers in the first 3 games of the season in the whole entire history of the 30 years of Raptors. That's more turnovers than the expansion Raptors. That's more turnovers than the ugly Bosch years. That's more turnovers than any other year before. And you know why? Because this is the youngest average aged Raptor team in the 30-year history of this franchise. So it makes sense. It makes sense, doesn't it? That they would have a lot of turnovers because that's what turnovers are. It's inexperience. It's, you know, getting fooled by Mike Conley. It's stuff like that. It's getting fooled by Mike Conley. Yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat. We'll do the 5 stars of the game, classic card of the day, Instagram stories, Leo's life tips, all the regular fun stuff on the Raptor Freak channel. Yeah, I'll get in that box score and look a little bit deeper into the stats. And we'll talk about key moments in the game last night. So yeah, let's get to it. Raptor Freak channel on. Yeah. All right, my first friend in the channel today is my guy Gerald out in the 905 in Mississauga. Naco the Nacho. Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday morning. And he's saying, I thought our offense was kind of stinky, but I suppose T-Wolves have a good defense. Grady, Oshai, and I guess Scotty were our best. He's given us his 3 stars of the game. Grady Dick, Oshai Abaji, and Scotty Barnes. Not a bad 3. That's pretty close to my 3 stars of the game. Yeah, I think that you're right. I mean, last year, Gerald, the Timberwolves were statistically the best defensive team in the NBA. It really helps when you've got Rudy Gobert in the middle of the lane, and he is the reigning defensive player of the year. He's also I think he's a 4-time defensive player of the year, and he is pretty much a wall. You go in there and it's hard to do stuff. And in some ways, this is a similar thing to what we were dealing with Allen and Mobley in the first game against the Cavs. Is interior defensive guys make it hard to score. Now, Raptors have a hard time making threes. They have a hard time making their offense happen. And in some ways, we got to get kick started from transition or getting easy baskets inside through cuts and stuff. But it gets hairy down there when you've got that big lurking dummy that started a pandemic walking around the basket. That is where it's like, we saw guys going down there and trying to do stuff, but it was, you had to be apprehensive. There was a little bit of a Wemby effect down there where you have to keep track of where Rudy is. And in some ways that may make you more hesitant. In some ways that may make you more unsure, and that may make you more likely to miss, even if he's either blocking you or you're missing because you're hesitant because you hear footsteps. So yeah, the Gobert effect is very strong. And then you add into the fact that the Timberwolves have a lot of lanky, long wings also. I mean, Jaden McDaniel is a very, very good defensive player also, who has a very long limbs. And I think even Randall in this whole setup with the Timberwolves just showing up is his defense is better just because he's next to Gobert and McDaniels. In New York, with Robinson and Hartenstein and different people around Randall, maybe sometimes he could be had, but Randall is an active player, and if he's trying, he has some height. And him on the flanked on the sides with Gobert and McDaniels, that's a very, very good defensive front court. So, yeah, and then you add in this was a big factor for us last night is Mike Conley being a 18-year veteran on the other end of the spectrum with guys like Jamal Shed. In some ways, there's lessons to be learned, Grasshopper, that an old man that can come out there and show you, yeah, you guys got to tighten up here. You got to tighten up here because I'm going to pick you apart. And when you make your mistakes, I'm going to be there to capitalize on them. So there's a lot to all of that. All of that right there, for sure, for sure. Trevor J saying, life is short, time is fast, no replay, no rewind, so enjoy every moment as it comes. I would say this too. I was like, quit screwing around with your life and do what you want to do with your life. Seriously, because life is short. And in some ways, people that aren't doing what they should be doing with their life, well, it's going to pass you by, is what's going to happen. It's sad. I hate that shit. I really do. Trevor's saying some of Wolves fans say they love Raptors young. Garrett, young guy that we have, something special. Who you talking about? Young guy. Who's young? Thaddeus is retired, I believe. He's involved in Thad Young Jr.'s career now. It's like, what do you mean? Which young guy? You can't even just say a young guy, Trevor, because we have a lot of young guys on our team. And, this could be a multitude of not even just the rookies. It could be our guy Grady. It could be, there's so many different people. You've got to elaborate with me. Come on now. Tell me who did the Timberwolves say they like our young guy? Who did they say? I want to know. I want to know. There's a bad joke in there, but I'm not going to do it. All right, cowboy. He's a cowboy. On a steel horse he rides. That's right. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Adapt to you, cowboy. Ta-da. What a roller coaster of a game. That slow start was the biggest issue. Besides that, I'm very happy for this young team. I've heard a couple of you guys talking about this last night in the chat, saying that if we hadn't had the first quarter issues, we might have won the game. No, come on, y'all. Y'all can't say woulda, coulda, like that. Listen, that is what it is. We got to go into the environment as a new group and a new young squad, and they have to go through every little part. It's like dipping your foot in the pool, and it's cold. Yeah, it's October. It's freezing outside. What are you doing getting in the pool? That's right. They got to test the waters. And in some ways, the youngsters got to get initiated by fire and go to Minnesota and feel what it's like to go on a road trip in the NBA for the first time, honestly, and then get out there and feel the energy of the opposing crowd. That's something that a lot of these young players have not felt, an NBA crowd. That kind of magnitude is different in some ways than the college crowd or any other level of basketball they played. There's a lot to it. You guys could say, oh, they were so shell-shocked and they didn't do this in the first quarter. They didn't do that. Well, it's what happened. And we can't woulda, coulda, shoulda anything this year. In some ways, if we were closer on our journey to getting to the Larry O'Brien, I'd be, really going to specific points and saying, yeah, we got to ratchet that up. We got to fix that. We can't do that anymore. But this isn't the point in time to do this. This is orientation. This is the first day in school. And this is the time for them to go out and experience just how tumultuous and difficult it is to win the NBA. And I see what you guys are saying, but I would also say this. Once again, the Raptors, had a hard time scoring from the start because of what Gerald's talking about, the Rudy Gobert and all that kind of stuff. It's tough to get going, especially if you're not a three-point oriented team. Yeah, other teams are going to come out there and bomb threes from the outside on the Timberwolves and open up that can of whoop ass on them that way. Well, we need to go start inside. And when the defensive player of the year is inside, we're going to struggle to start scoring at the beginning. Yeah, they came out and they were hitting everything, and we weren't hitting nothing. And they had doubled us up in the first quarter. It is what it is. That's just how it is. That's experience. That's learning. And that's just the new kids on the road, taking the road vibes and dealing with it right away. Because that's what it was right there. Good to see you, Bradley. He's saying, you're very happy for this young team. Yeah. I like how you spelled it Young Street. That's kind of cool, Bradley. Yeah, roller coaster. You even put a little emoticon in there. Trevor's saying maybe if we didn't have so much turnovers, maybe we steal one because we never gave up. That's what I love. You really have to beat us. No, there's a lot of good signs and good things about last night. I mean, I would say this, for being such a good defensive team, for us being so green and making dumb turnovers, lots of dumb turnovers, we shoot ourselves in the foot. We were hanging with them. And at times we had opportunities to strike, where we had the lead in single digits late in the game. And if we just tightened up a little bit more for a few more minutes at the end and overcame them, we showed good stretches where we held them off from scoring in the second half and caught up with them. There was a lot of good stuff last night. It's just to put the whole package together to get the complete W in the game it's a little bit more. It's a little bit tightened up. It's a little bit of, other stuff more. But, the future is so incredibly bright. I have to say this because, listen, the Raptors have rookies that are beyond their years. And it's all learning process. And this is the thing. Don't get it twisted. This team is students of the game. As Scotty, Grady, Jamal Shed, these guys are all here to learn the NBA. And well, that's what they're doing. They're learning the NBA. So give them some time. And when they come through all this, they're going to be way, way better for it. Seriously, we got to understand our place and where we are in the NBA right now. And in some ways, Raptors fans can't be like, oh, well, this is how we could have gotten the win or this. No, it is exactly how it is in the process of getting a rebuild going and doing what we got to do. And I'm okay with it. In some ways, there's a lot less pressure watching Raptors games this year for us. And we shouldn't be so about every single play on the court this year, because they're going to fuck you up if you do that. You're going to see a Jamal Shed pass and you're going to be like, oh, damn. But like, look, this dude's going to figure it out. Jamal Shed's going to figure out how to cut down his turnovers over the years, y'all. And he's going to get better and better and better. So chill. This is the beginning. This is the first draft of a long novel. We're writing War and Peace. And it's going to take a long time to write this first draft. And then we're going to rip it up. And we're going to start over again. Then we're going to rip it up again. And this may take a couple of years before we are truly contending for a championship again. But I honestly think we have advanced students. If we're in the high school, we're the AP class. Maybe the Wizards are like remedial reading. But I'm just going to say that. That's what I'm going to say right there. We got kids that are smart, and they're going to be progressing quicker than the average rebuild or bottom feeding team in the NBA. That's what I'll say. Does that make you feel better? That make you feel better? Cowboys saying the Raptors could have easily hung their heads, but they kept fighting. Great job hanging in there with the Wolves starters. Let's fucking go, Raptors. That's right. And this is going to be a thing that's going to really buoy these guys, is that their connection and their understanding of this. They're not dumb. In the past, some players would be dumb. Oh, we lose, me angry. No, these guys understand that this is going to be like this for a while, and they're not losing focus of the long-term vision. In some ways, they're not stupid. They're not low IQ players, even though we got high IQ players like IQ that understand that, like, you know what? Yeah, I see how this works. I want to tinker with it. I want to get better, and I want to get closer and closer to getting that big dub. And in some ways, they understand this. If anything, to me, the way that they played with the Timberwolves last night is very encouraging, that they may be closer to stealing certain games in some ways, because you guys are right in some ways. They may have been, in some alternate universe, able to get the W last night with a little bit better play. Like, maybe a little bit more like Friday night against Philadelphia. Maybe a little bit more tightened up in this way or that way. Yeah, that's the thing. So it's a work in progress, and the progress is seen in not a huge blowout. I mean, let's say this. How about this? What happened the last time we went to Minnesota earlier this year? Yeah. One of the worst losses in the history of the NBA, in the history of the Raptors franchise, 48-point loss to the Timberwolves earlier this year with the team of Javon, Freeman, Liberty, Mohamedou Gay, and Jordan Wara, and all those guys playing with no Scotty and Jakob. I say going from a 48-point loss to this team, which is pretty much the same team, just switch out Cat and put Julius on it, and only losing by 11 last night or something like that. What did we lose by? I should go look at that, honestly. Yeah, we lost by 11. That's progress. That's progress right there. The last time we went into the Timberwolves building, we got waxed bad, real bad. And I'll take an 11-point loss over a 48-point loss any day. I mean, seriously, this could have been a 20-point, 30-point blowout. But we hung with a top Western Conference team. And don't get it twisted. This is a top Western Conference team that brags the Defensive Player of the Year in the middle and an amazing offensive, hard-to-stop talent like Anthony Edwards. They've got a lot of different really good pieces. Then you get like people like Naz Reid, Joel Ingles. This team is ready to compete in the Western Conference and go deep in the playoffs. And that's what they're built for. And that's where they are on the escalator of progress in the NBA. We remember, guys, we just got at the first step at the bottom of the Eaton Center in the food court. And these guys are up on the second or third level, up on those fancy boutique levels up on the third floor at the Eaton Center. You know what I'm talking about. They're way up there now. See, when someone's, we got to start the climb of the escalator once again and understand that the Timberwolves have already been up the escalator a little bit, and they're a different place in their cycle right now. So we got to remember all this stuff. We got to have reality checks with ourselves here and there before we get all emotional. Some people getting on the ledge. No, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Seriously, what's going on? Why are you on the ledge? Trevor saying Grady and Oshai were the on fire, hitting from all cylinders. Let's go Raptors. All right, we'll do our 3 stars of the game. Yes, last night was all about the Raptor Jayhawks, and they were the most effective Raptors from the start. They were the guys who were getting all the points for the Raptors and carrying them in the first quarter. In particular, I was really, really proud of Grady. And Grady is my number 1 star of the game for last night. Grady, wow, he got his career high in points. He was doing things with his shot that were absolutely phenomenal. Did you guys see the teardrop where he didn't even touch, it barely touched the net going through the hoop? It was crazy. That little baseline floater that went real high up and dropped right through the middle of the hoop. Then there was all kinds of little little mid-range shots, middies here. He's trying to turn and pivot and shoot over people. He had some success in shooting in the middle, in the lane with Gobert around. And honestly, I was super impressed with Grady. Grady was filling it up. Let's go look at his stat line real quick. He was 9 for 16, and he was not shooting easy shots last night. In some ways, shooting 9 of 16 shows the skill and the work and the preparation that young Grady Dick has done in his life to get to this point in the NBA. And I'm so proud of him. Honestly, he showed he had an unshakable confidence, and he was in there mixing it up. In fact, at one point, it looked like Ant-Man was talking to Grady, and he was like, "You're pretty good, young man." And Grady was probably talking back to him. I don't know. Maybe Ant-Man was talking smack. Whatever it is, that's a sign of respect, Grady, that Anthony Edwards is going to take his time to talk to you on the court. And I can only imagine what he said to you and what you said back to him. I'm sure you said the right thing back to him. Even if he said some sort of thing like he would say to Bo Cruz, I'm sure you said the right thing back to him. You say, "Stay away from my daughter." That's probably what he said. That's right. 4 for 9 from 3, which is good. He did have some nice threes there. The broadcast booth talking about how teams at the scouting report on young Grady, and they ain't letting him shoot in the corner anymore. That's too bad. That's too bad. 3 for 3 at the free throw line. 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, a minus 13 with 25 points, the 25-point career high of young Grady Dick in his second year in the NBA. Yeah, Grady was awesome, man. And I just love his confidence. And you know what? He's a bucket. As Scotty would say on Twitch, he's a bucket. And yeah, I think that Grady was awesome. Is that the young man you think that they're talking about? Oh, that young man's good on the Raptors, Grady Dick. Yeah, it might be. It might be. The second star of the game for me is his Jayhawks buddy, Ochai Agbaji, in the starting line also. He had 19 points on 8 of 12 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. Those threes were timely. One of them was really confident, and it was off an assist off Scott. And I was just like, yeah, Ochai, if you could shoot like that all the time, that'd be awesome. But once again, we saw Kansas Ochai going to the basket and finishing near the basket with physicality around him. And whether it's in transition or even just attacking the rim in a half-court set, Agbaji was very effective last night, and I appreciate him for both sides of the ball, the offensive and the defensive side, because he did get some of the brunt of the hard work on Anthony Edwards last night, and he did okay. I mean, Edwards was pretty good, but he wasn't like a phenomenal. He's absolutely killing the Raptors too. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals for Ochai Agbaji, a minus 15, 19 points in 31 minutes. Yeah, I just thought that, the Jayhawk kids were actually the most effective Raptors last night. They definitely were. And in times when we were having times of struggle, well, Grady would hit a shot all of a sudden. And I love it because in the past, when the Raptors would go through lean times where they're not scoring, and Matt Devlin saying the Raptors have not scored since the 3-minute mark. When that shit happens, I hate that. And Grady is such a bucket. He's so technically good. He's so practiced and proven that when he's out there, he can stop a scoring drought for the Raptors at any given time because he's unflappable. He don't care if we haven't scored in 5 minutes. He's going to shoot it the way he always shot it with his mom, and he's going to go ahead and make it, and he'll end that scoring drought. And there was some of that last night where Grady was ending scoring droughts. Now, you guys may think my third star is Scott, but it isn't. No, it's not. In some ways, Scotty had way too many turnovers last night. He kind of really bugged me with the turnovers last night, racking up 6 turnovers last night. And in some ways, Scotty, 9 and 19, it's not bad. I mean, it's really not that bad. It's kind of a middling game for Scott, is what I'm going to say. He was very overpowering and showing the new Scott in some ways. He was going down low. He was doing all kinds of good high percentage shooting, but he struggled at times. And he did have some issues with turnovers. And, he wasn't as effective as usual. I want to get Scott the star of the game when he is bona fidely like carrying us as a franchise player. So, no, I did not give one of my 3 stars to Scott. I give the 3rd star to Bruno Fernando, guys. Y'all may be like, what the hell, Lex? What do you mean you gave the 3rd star to Bruno Fernando? Why did you do that? Well, it's because Bruno Fernando had one of the highest plus minuses on our game, and he played a super ethical game in the 12 minutes that he played. Some people were saying, oh, no, like Josh Lewenberg, why did you give so many minutes to Bruno Fernando last night instead of Jonathan Mobo? Well, that's because this game was different than the game against Philadelphia. This game was against a tall team that was very difficult to deal with. And in some ways, Mobo would not do as well against Gobert and Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle down low, Naz Reid. Those guys are veteran savvy. And in some ways, we needed a more veteran pro like Fernando, who has more years under his belt. Now, this is what Bruno did. And listen to his stat line. You'll see what I mean right here. Bruno was in there for 12 minutes. That's it. He wasn't even out there that long. He got 6 points on 2 of 4 shooting, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. And not only that, this is what I'm talking about. The stat that I'm looking at for Bruno is he was a +5. So in the minutes that Bruno Fernando was on the floor, we were winning. And that's what I'm saying. There were a couple guys that had pluses off the bench. And that was Chris Boucher and Jamison Battle also. Then when they were out, one. So I just want to give a little light to Bruno Fernando and giving him my 3rd star because I see what you did out there. You busted your ass. You worked hard. You may not have won every time when you're battling with the bigs from the Timberwolves, but you were effective in certain ways. And I think getting blocks and rebounds and doing all that in 12 minutes, that's actually kind of impressive to me. So I did make Bruno Fernando my 3rd star of the game. I know some of y'all will very much argue with me on that. Well, that's just me, man. That's what I saw out there. And in some ways, I want to give Bruno some kudos because he's under fire in different places. And even from, like I said, Josh Lewenberg saying, why are you playing Bruno Fernando? Play Jonathan Mobo. And so like, no, Josh. Come on now. We're playing against a veteran top playoff team in the West. And we need the experience and the toughness of Bruno Fernando out there to deal with Rudy Gobert. That's just I had to say on that. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going in the chat. That's right. Let's go. All right. Let's see. Cowboys saying true, Trevor. I really think the Raptors are a better team than the Wolves. Not right now. When we're healthy and in the playoffs, watch out, NBA. Now that could be. We'll have to see. I mean, I'll love to see us get a split series with the Minnesota Timberwolves when they come to Toronto. I don't remember when they're coming this year, but they may be coming sooner than later because it seems like we're playing a lot of the Western teams games against top Western teams early in the season. So it could very well be we're in Minnesota. We're there in Toronto very soon. And hopefully by then we'll have RJ and Emmanuel back. And you may be right. You may be right. And that maybe IQ and RJ would be enough to put us over the top. Once again, I'll say this. We could have won this game last night if RJ Barrett was playing. Yeah, and it was really disappointing to me when I heard once again, RJ Barrett's missing his 3rd game of the season already this season. That really disappoints me. And you see him on the bench, and I'm like, damn, you made the trip. You're there. Why aren't you out there, RJ? Why aren't you battling with Julius? Yeah, in some ways, maybe that I could say this. Maybe you're right, Bradley. Maybe we were the better team, and it's just RJ wasn't playing. Damn it, RJ. Get the hell out there, man. That's what I'm saying. G is here. Good to see G. Against the healthy Wolves on a back-to-back, they fought until the end. We'll take this moral victory. Our youth are getting a ton of experience, and this is amazing for the future. Yeah, G's got a great perspective on this, and I agree with everything he's saying except for the part about moral victory. I come from the camp of Fred VanVleet, where you say there's no moral victories in this league. There's either winning or losing. Well, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be talking about victories and losses. We should be talking about growth and getting better. And that's a totally different thing. In some ways, Yeah, I mean, listen, we don't want to get used to losing, sure, but in some ways, I mean, I know what you're saying, G, and I'm not like trying to diss what you're saying at all. I think you're exactly right that there's a lot of really positive things that happened in a loss last night. But yeah, I don't like season as a workshop. And well, we're going to go in there and sometimes we'll get rewarded with the golden star of the day, a big W in the game. But sometimes we're not. A lot of times we're not. But we got to see what work we put in and where we're progressing and where we're getting better. And that's part of it right there. And way Gene frames this, a healthy Timberwolves, which they were exactly healthy. They had their very best players available, nobody on the injured list. And on a second night of a back-to-back where we traveled to Minnesota, yeah, this is the thing I would say, G. The energy was very good. In some ways, you expect the Raptors to come out and be a little lackadaisical, maybe running in some sand. But nah, they were out there putting in the effort, pretty similar to how they did against Philadelphia on Friday night. Not exactly to that level of all out, but you can't say they were lazy, and you can't say that they lost because they didn't try hard enough. And that's something to be commended for, is that, the ups and downs of the NBA season are going to be grueling and tiring. And in some ways, gauging them for their energy and how much they're putting it on the floor and trying to win is very impressive from what the whole settings of what happened last night. I agree with this. Nameless is here. Good to see you, Nameless. I'm so proud of our team for the effort they showed last night. They nearly flipped the script on that scheduled loss. The refs made it impossible, though. Too much to overcome. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, too. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We're going to talk about this some more. I think somebody said something about it in the comments. It might have been you, Nameless. Yeah. Murat Kugat. Fuck you, man. 2-finger salute from Murat. Once again, I just had to say this. The referees were a tale of 3 different refs, and they're all got their own personalities. Curtis Blair is making makeup calls, which I love. There were some more makeup calls last night. You guys, now that I pointed out what they were in the Philadelphia game, did you see them last night? There were a couple of weird calls where all of a sudden we're losing the ball on this side because there's a foul. But then on the other end of the court, Curtis Blair's blowing the whistle and saying this is happening here. And then all of a sudden we're getting the ball back. So there were a couple of makeup calls once again last night, which was nice. But the one referee that absolutely hates the Raptors and calls everything against us, whether it's a ball going out of bounds, whether it's any kind of a 50-50 foul situation, whether it's, just in general, I'm going to be an asshole and you guys lose the ball because I'm calling an offensive foul on Jakob Poeltl on a screen in a key moment late in the game in the fourth quarter when y'all are trying to surge up and it's single digits. Murat Kugat. Yeah, that guy is such a fucker. In some ways, I can't stand the dude so much, man. I just want to punch him in his bald head face. Like, seriously, I feel like Murat Kugat and I are just 2 bald men walking in this world, and we're like the antithesis of each other. And if I walked met him on the street, I'd be like, fuck you, Murat, and bam. Maggie Simpson and that other baby looking through the window at each other. That's kind of the relationship I have with Kugat, this motherfucker. And every time he refs the Raptors, it's a problem. It's a problem. And he did do some manipulative shit late in the game. It was really right around in the fourth where we got it to like a 9-point lead. And we were really kind of like getting closer. Well, then he'd call a bullshit offensive foul. And that fucked up thing about offensive fouls from the referees is it's not just a foul added to Jakob Poeltl's foul total. It's also a turnover. It's added to our turnover tops. Now, we can get turnovers from Jamal Shed lofting a ball over Grady's head by accident. That's a well-earned turnover because it's a mistake by our own guys. But how the fuck are we going to get our turnovers down if the referees are going to force us to take turnovers because they're blowing a whistle and giving you one? That's the thing that I don't like. And Kugat does that shit. He did it at least 2 or 3 times last night. And one of the worst ones was that one late off the Jakob pick that he was setting at the top of the key. That totally killed some of our momentum that we were building up to try and come back because all of a sudden Timberwolves have the ball again. Yeah, it's deflating. It's deflating. And once again, we see Scott getting frustrated with the refs. At one point, we heard him yelling, "That's a fucking foul." We heard him over the broadcast. You could hear Scott over the broadcast drop a F-bomb. That's a fucking foul. You heard that, didn't you? Yeah. I mean, there were times where Scott got really pissed off and he was yelling at them and getting mad, but then there were also times where he handled it better. So he's learning. He's getting better at controlling his emotions. He cares. That's the thing that I care about. Scotty cares so much, he's getting pissed at the refs for not getting the calls right. And that's a good sign. I mean, some guys will just check out and be like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, they're going to screw me over. I don't care. No, I want Scotty to care. And the fact that he does, it means a lot for our team. Seriously, it really does. Trevor J saying we did not even have our best start in starting five, and we take their punches and we punch back. Yeah, RJ and Emmanuel would have helped a lot. Kelly would have helped. Bruce Brown probably could have helped in some sort of weird X factor way. Who knows what Jacoby Walter is ready to do yet? So, yeah, there's people missing for the Raptors. A whole 5 of guys missing for the Raptors. And we can only wonder what they would have added to help us. Nameless is saying, as if they really needed the refs as a 6-man too, was overkill. They definitely didn't want us to win last night. And you could tell this by the construction of the schedule alone. Nameless isn't even in our Facebook chat. And I was saying this before the game, Nameless. You wouldn't have seen this. I said, this is the home opener for the Timberwolves, and it's important to the NBA they win. And in some ways, that is one of the things. Not only we have to go against a home crowd and trying to win on the road with a very young team, the NBA does not like teams losing in their home openers. It's really economics. Think about it. You don't win your home opener, especially to a team like the Raptors, ticket sales for the whole entire year. You know, the fact that we lost our home opener to Cleveland hurts our ticket sales going forward because people don't have as much faith in the Raptors and they're not going to show up and come down the arena. My friend Ken is calling me after we lose the first home opener and he's saying, man, I'm going to have tickets all year for you, man, because they're just not going to be sought after as much as they would be if people believed in the Raptors and thinking they're good. So just imagine if the Raptors, the lowly Raptors, came into Minnesota last night and kicked the shit out of the Timberwolves. What do you think would happen with the Timberwolves home ticket sales? And that's exactly the business in the NBA is tickets. And in some ways, they can't have that setting up the season. So in some ways, that's what I was trying to say in the Facebook chat yesterday, is that it's important to the NBA that they sell tickets, and they don't want to turn off Minnesota Timberwolves ticket fans that are going to buy it in the first game, losing to a team that's perceived as a bottom feeder on the Eastern Conference side. So, yeah, in some ways, there was a ref there, the magician, to make sure the trick goes right as far as Minnesota winning, just in case it's close. Now, I would say this, they probably didn't need it. It is overkill. Nameless is right. That, you know, they probably would have been all right with the 18-year veteran Mike Conley directing things with veterans out there in a close game situation against a very green Toronto Raptors team that doesn't know what they're doing. You know, that's the thing we're going to have to realize this year also. We can be in close games. If we're behind, that's tough. If we can come back and overcome a team, that'll be great. But a lot of times we're going to get in close games this year, and they're going to outvet us with experience and understanding of how to close a game in the right way to keep a team from coming back and beating them. So that's one of the things we got to realize this year. It's going to be frustrating. We may have games that are close, and because we're so green, we won't know how to execute and win those games, and the other team will because they have more vets. And that's something we're just going to have to accept. We can beat teams like we did on Philly if we run them off the court and have a 10-point lead in the last quarter and hold them off. Yeah. But if we're coming from behind, we can't do that old Raptors shit where we're playing from behind the whole entire game, like down by a dozen, and then we come back in the last quarter because Fred is carrying us or something like that. No, that ain't happening this year. So we got to be wire to wire beating them, or at least having a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter to be able to win close games. So they didn't need Murat Kugat to do the ref manipulation to stop us fully. They needed the veteran Minnesota Timberwolves to settle the game down, control it in the end, and out-vet us is what's going to happen. So it is a little overkill. That's the exact right word. That is the exact right word, overkill. They didn't need it. They didn't need Murat to do that shit. Loves it. He just enjoys screwing over the Raptors. I think that's what it is. It's just like, oh, I get such joy from screwing the Raptors. Yeah, and Darko was letting them know. He was letting them know. Trust me, he was. At one point, I think he made a bad call, and Darko was talking to Curtis Blair about it in a very matter-of-fact way. And, yeah, that got caught on camera for a second. Let's see. Monique is here. Yeah, the super fan. Monique Lawrence, our MVP. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. We fought hard. Grady and Oshai are turning some heads. Glad to finally catch a stream. Yeah, we missed you. in the morning, Mo. I know you've been very tired and busy because you've been going to the games. And I know that in some ways, if you go to a game at Scotiabank Arena, it's a late night for you and you want to sleep in, and catching the Raptor Freak stream is tough. Listen, you're with us all the time, every single day in our hearts. And I know you're going to watch us later too. I appreciate the hard work you put in to go to the games and watch it. I'm sorry you had a difficult night on opening night. I hope that it's smoother for you. And I hope that you had a good time with your nephew, regardless. And yeah, you know what? We're just living that life, the Raptor Freak life. And I'm so grateful to have your presence in the stream this morning. That's right. Cowboys saying, I got to say it again. Chef Darko is the right person for the job. He's still fine tuning and learning like the rest of this young team is. And Masai, great draft picks. That is something we're getting a lot of acclaim for, is the draft. Once again, Masai knows he hit it out of the park on the second day of the draft, and he's getting some recognition for this. Sam Venci is an NBA writer, and he's been paying attention. Who's the best rookies right now? He keeps talking about it on Twitter. And right now, the consensus is it's Missy down in New Orleans because he has the best scoring numbers and everything. You know, this is a crazy thing. Missy's only averaging like 10 or 12 points. Well, that's what Jamal Shedd's averaging too, my guy. Seriously. So it's like they put out a rookie report with all the players that are doing the best as rookies. And yes, 3 out of the top 4 players were our Raptor rookies. That's right. It was Missy, Shed, Mobo, and Battle are the top 4 rookies right now, statistically, in the NBA right now. 3 out of the top 4 are on the Raptors, y'all. Now, where are our rookie rankings, ESPN? I want to see what you're coming out with right now, what kind of garbage and how you're going to avoid showing them. Because in some ways, I guess you could say, oh, this team is a bottom-feeding team. We shouldn't pay attention to them. Well, of course they're going to get good stats. The Raptors have nobody on their team now. You know, whatever bullshit you're going to make up. We beat Philadelphia on Friday. So give us our fucking shine and put those rookies in your rankings is what I'm saying. So where are the rookie rankings? I want to see them. Bring them out. And there better be a Jamal Shed on that rookie rankings. At least a Jamal Shed, if not a Jonathan Mobo or a Jamison Battle, is what I would say right there. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Nameless is saying Oshai is playing as though we need. Yeah, I mean, we always need to do this. The Pascal trade was a varied trade with a lot of assets coming back to us. And at each stage, you need to look at this. It's just like the Gravis Vasquez trade. Over the years, it became a tree, and it turned into Norman Powell and OG Anunoby. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody who's like, oh, Pascal, what do you get for Pascal? Well, we got a lot for him. And we're going to see more and more what we got for him as the draft picks continue to be picked and put on the court in front of everybody. That's right. That's right. Cowboys saying 2-2 is still a great way to start the season. Let's fucking grow, Raptors. You know, this is a very interesting situation. We'll talk more about this tomorrow because we are playing Denver here in Toronto tomorrow night. Preview tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. But Denver's having issues right now. There was a lot of talk about these issues with Denver and their bench. Their bench is they're not getting any bench scoring whatsoever right now, which is very, very interesting. In some ways, the Nuggets have been on a decline since they won their championship. Oh, imagine that. What's that? It's like a team wins a championship for the first time, and all of a sudden the NBA is like, yeah, we are going to strip you clean of parts. Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Bruce Brown. You know, that's the thing. The Nuggets have changed a lot. And in some ways, the Nuggets may be more susceptible tomorrow. And that record that Cowboys purporting of 2-2 for the Raptors could very well be reality by midnight tomorrow night. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Everything is right order. Let's stay in the now, Eckhart Tolle. And we will go ahead and do the assessments and watch the game tomorrow. And we'll see. Maybe we will be 2-2 tomorrow. I could see that. We could see. That'd be awesome. That'd be very, very good. Let's grow. Let's grow. That's right. Cowboys got Mo on blast. I love that. And Monique is saying, this is what she's saying right now. Stars of the game, Grady, O'Shea, I guess Scotty, but those 5 turnovers, man. Yeah, you know, don't hate on Scotty too much. In some ways, there's things Scotty he's doing right now I love so much. Like, I really do love that he's habitating within the lane and the mid-range, and he's really not taking a whole lot of threes. He took 4 threes last night, but out of 19 shots, that's way better than before when he would take like 8 threes out of 16 shots. So, you know, 9 for 19 is actually not that bad of shooting. In some ways, Scott was very good. And he honestly, honorable mention, I should have made him, the start of the game, but I'm trying to hold Scott to a higher level of like excellence. And 5 turnovers, he's got clean 6 turnovers. Sorry, he's got to clean that up. He had 6 turnovers last night and a -13. So we lost while he was on the court. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that's horrible about Scott. That's a great line for most average players, but for him, it's ho hum, is what I'll say. Going down the stat sheet right now, we'll do Jakob Pertl, 4 of 9 from the field, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 points. Jakob, not really, same thing as Scott. It's like that's a solid game, an 8 and 10 game, but it's still ho hum. I expect more from you, big man. And in some ways, you not shooting over 50% is a big problem because most of your shots should be very easy. There were times where Jakob did not connect with his teammates in ways and it was frustrating last night. Let's just put it that way. But also, once again, he's so important to this team. And you see it when there's giants like Gobert around. You really see why Jakob Pertl should be so important to our team and that everybody should value him and stop talking bullshit about how he should be on our team. When he's in there battling with those big guys, you see it, and he's taking licks. And he's a strong guy, and there's like all kinds of dirty, cheap shots he's taking. So shame on Raptors fans who do not respect the martyr that honestly Jakob Pertl is and how much he takes abuse for our Raptor team. Seriously. Davion Mitchell had a very interesting game in some ways. He was horrible for shooting, 0 for 5, 0 for 1 from 3, but he had 8 assists with 0 turnovers. And that's like a perfect point guard kind of thing. So in some ways, once again, this is another player that was very good, like Jakob and Scott, put in some really quality stuff out there, but wasn't over the top good because he didn't make any of his own shots. And that's just what it is. But I really like what Davion was doing out there. He was finding people like a point guard should. And you know what? I didn't even realize that Davion was absolutely a point guard like this. I thought he was a defensive player. I thought next he was maybe a 3-point shooter. But now I'm seeing that Mitchell is actually also a very good playmaker and an 8 assist, 0 turnover game against the Timberwolves last night. And Mike Conley, that shows a lot right there. Seriously, that shows a lot. Looking at the bench, Chris Boucher was out there. He had a not such a great offensive game like the last game where he didn't make any points. 2 of 8 with 0 for 4 from 3, 0 for 2 at the free throw line, which is not like Chris, but he did get 9 rebounds in the 16 minutes he was out there. So he contributed from mixing up with the bigs on the Timberwolves side. So once again, this is a good rebounding effort, but the other aspects of your game were missing, the 3-pointers and some of the other stuff. So it is what it is. Jamison Battle was very good, although he had one of his worst shooting games for the Raptors, 3 of 8. And in some points he was shooting threes, and you're like, oh, that's gonna make it, but he missed them. And that's not what we're used to with Jamison. We got to realize at some point, Jamison has been so gangbusters and so money and so fighting for his life by making threes so much. We've become accustomed to it that he's going to come back down to earth and he will start missing from time to time too. And this was a little bit of that last night, only 1 for 4 from 3. But he still made a 3. He has a streak going on with that, which is very important. The thing that Jamison did that was a whole other cool thing to that is the rebounding. He had 6 rebounds last night, and 2 of them were offensive. And that's really good quality work from a guy his position and his size, getting in there, mixing it up once again, and helping with the rebound battle against a very tall, big Timberwolves team. So 9 points, a +4 in 19 minutes. Jamison Battle was pretty good. Pretty good. Jonathan did not play a lot yesterday. He only had 9 minutes, and people have been critical of this. Jonathan Mobo has been a bit of a darling in the season so far. And, he doing so well on Friday. But listen to this. Let's think about this logically, like logical Raptors fanatic would. Let's Windhurst this. Why did Jonathan not play so much last night? Well, could it be because he's a rookie? He's not used to the NBA grind, and he played heavy minutes on the first night of a back-to-back? That maybe Darko understands that maybe, if I overplay him too much tonight, that may be tiring him out too early as a rookie. I mean, there are things called rookie walls. And in some ways, we do need to pay attention to these young guys being able to play quality minutes for sustained times. And, him playing so heavy and taking up a lot of minutes on Friday night, it could have been a very well thought out decision to limit Jonathan Mobo's minutes in the second night of a back to back after he played so heavy against Philadelphia. So I think that that's probably a lot of it. Also, when he came out his first stint last night, he did not play well. He was kind of a little bit lost. And in some ways, he was getting lost in the shuffle with some of the vets of the Timberwolves. And that's what we're talking about when I say Darko's going to be playing people throughout the game on merit and on feel. And if he's feeling like Jonathan is not the exact best matchup in this situation against the personnel of a veteran Timberwolves team, and he's calling 24 Bruno Fernando instead, we have to respect that as fans, because I feel like that's the right judgment. Because in some ways, once again, he's in there fighting against, Drummond gets in foul trouble, he's out. He's fighting against Yabusele and an undersized front court. And in some ways, Jonathan may have struggled more if he'd gotten extended minutes last night. And there would have been more rookie turnovers also. So we got to look at the logic of this. Mobo 1 for 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, two steals, and 2 minutes and 2 points in 9 minutes on the court. Jamal Shed, 19 minutes on the court, 2 of 4, 1 for 2 from 3, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 5 points. Not a bad game by him. But he was out there busting his ass too. And then finally, DJ Carton got out there for 1 for 2, 3 points overall with a 1 free throw, 2 rebounds. Not a whole lot going on with him. He did have 3 turnovers within 9 minutes, which was kind of yeah. So yeah, listen, it's like we had some good players play good, and we had them have some aspects of their game that were missing, whether it's Chris's threes, whether it's Jakob Poeltl doing this, whether it's Scott, so many turnovers. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. That's how it goes right there. That's right. That's right. Nameless is saying the league is script writing hard, man. If they don't want you to win, the refs gatekeep hard, more noticeable than ever. I mean, I don't want to believe this completely. In some ways, once again, I've said this, Nameless. I said the referees are all different people, and there's different individuals. Some of them may be very, very horrible and awful. Some of them may be veteran, like Scott Foster, and understand this and trying to write these scripts for the NBA. I think it's very telling that the Lakers have won a lot of their first games. Once again, they need to endorse the Bron and Bronny show as being legitimate TV watching. It'd be one thing if like Bronny's out there and he sucks and he's getting 0 goose egg stat lines and they're losing. Everybody be like, why the hell are we paying attention to them? So the way that they make it able to be paying attention to them is in some ways they're probably propping up the Lakers like they propped up the Boston Celtics last year right now. So, the script writing is in different situations. And Nameless, when I do the previews for games, this is part of the way I handicap the games. Is I go in and I look at, well, is this a game that matters to the NBA for the outcome? And will this be a factor in whether they will allow a team to win against another team? Because we don't want it to be a complete crap like it was when we went to crypto and played the Lakers last year, when we obviously were kicking the Lakers' ass. We could have beaten the Lakers, but the refs completely held us back from winning it. And then Darko freaked out after the game. So we got to take it on a case-by-case basis. Understand that what you're saying is not necessarily untrue, but we have to have some optimism and faith that, good hard work and us playing hard will overcome this and we'll get our second Larry O'Brien no matter what, is what I got to say on that. Yeah. Monique's saying about 19 turnovers for the team. It was frustrating to see. All right, well, I'll take that cue and we'll go look at the team stats next. And we'll talk about exactly what we see from them. We shot really poorly early, but we made it up for it as the game went on. We still shot 46% over the whole game. We did manufacture 7 more attempts from the field than the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is actually pretty good. That means we were scrappy. Once again, our three-point shooting is going to lose the other teams. We only hit 10 threes. We shot 35%. They got 14 threes. That's tough. In some ways, man, maybe we do need another shooter or two. Okay, Manuel, come on back. Okay, RJ, come on back, please, because we do need your shooting. Maybe Jacoby Walter will help us with our three-point shooting also when he comes back. We didn't shoot as well at the free throw line as we did against Philly, and this could be part of the factor. But also, and this is part of the manipulation that Nameless is talking about, the Timberwolves went the line twice as many times as us. 26 free throw attempts for them and only 13 for us. And the sad thing is we missed 4 out of those 13 for 69% at the line. They shot 77% at the line. And that was a bit of a factor there. In some ways, you could say, okay, but they were getting fouls on they were shooting, and we were just getting weird fouls off of screens and different things like that. Yeah, that's part of the reason why there's a free throw discrepancy in how many the teams get. But also at the same time, when it's so wide and it's doubled up like that, that's never a good sign. And that's kind of what happened there. That's kind of what happened there. There's a mole running around the yard. That's weird. I just saw a mole out there. It's like freezing. What the hell is that? Anyway, distracted by a mole. Rebounding, 46 rebounds for the Raptors, 41 for them. So we out rebounded them, 12 offensive rebounds. That was fantastic. That's really, really good stuff. I like that the Raptors are winning a lot of the rebounding battles in these early games this season. We got the same amount as assists as them, 29 assists, 29 assists. But the turnovers make our assist to turnover ratio really bad. They got 29 assists and 13 turnovers. So that's over 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Meanwhile, we got 29 assists with 20 turnovers. And that is just not the right ratio. It's not the right ratio, 29 to 20 for assist to turnovers. In some ways, we're going to have to live and die with our turnovers. They're just going to be a part of our team this year, guys. In some ways, that maybe we'll have games where we play a lot tighter and we don't have a lot of turnovers, Monique. But we're going to have to get used to this because these guys are really young and they are going to make turnovers. Trust me. They just are. The great thing is, though, that Darko is getting these guys so connected and loving each other that the connection should be more natural with passing to each other. And there should be a lot of that good stuff. But there still is, rookie mistakes. And, you're going to lose the ball to Mike Conley at least a couple times in the game just because he knows so much on how to, play passing lanes and dog people with defense that they're going to cough up the ball. And there was some of that kind of stuff with traps and things that our guys fell into, and then all of a sudden we're losing the ball. And that's just a part of the game. And that's part of learning and becoming more vet as you get older in the NBA. Fast break points, 24 points on the fast break, beating them there. And we won the points in the paint also. So there's a lot of stats we won, and that's part of how we kept it close with them. 56 points in the paint, and that's in the paint with Gobert, guys. That's a little bit of an accomplishment right there, honestly. Yeah, it's tough. The stats are tough. And in some ways, shooting and turnovers is what is killing the Raptors last night. That's right. That's right. Right there. Yeah. Boom goes a dynamite. Let's go. Name was saying the refs creating those turnovers. Yeah. Some of those 20 turnovers, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 of them were created by the refs, is what I would say. At least 3, maybe 4 or 5. Yeah. I think you're right. Let's see. Kaz has got Mo on blast. Kaz is not on the road. It's Sunday, and Kaz is on his day off. Jimmy's here. I just want us to get healthy. Grady with 25. Yeah. Shout out to Oshai. There you go. Popa Positivity has returned to the channel from the off season. I'm so happy to see Jimmy in here regularly. We missed you, Jimmy. Just a little break there for a second. I don't know. The internet's spotty out here right now. We're going to have to upgrade. Cowboys saying, bring on the Nuggets. Good luck. You're going to need it. Let's go. Well, let's respect this team. Once again, it's a team that's 2 years away from their championship. And also, they're very vet. They're a very veteran team that is savvy. In some ways, we got to respect Jokic. So let's just take it and see what happens. Jakob versus Jokic is a fun matchup. We'll have to see that happen tomorrow. Fiercey saying, good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, Fiercey. Always glad to see MJ in the chat. Carlo's here. Morning, Lex and Freaks. Good morning, Carlo and Santino. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Kaz is saying good morning. And Cowboy saying on a Sunday morning sidewalk. Okay, Johnny Cash. Oh, man, that's a great song. I love that song, Bradley. Thank you for bringing up some Johnny Cash this morning on a Sunday morning sidewalk. That's right. I don't know more of the song, or I'd sing it for you. I'm sorry. Carlos saying Santino was crying all game. Oh no! Check that diaper. Blackhawks saying we did good last night. We will look great after 20 games. I like this optimism from Neil. I think that in some ways you're right. The progress is going to be fun to see because we can kind of remember some of the things that are happening now. And then around Christmas, let's see where we're at then. Let's see where we are next spring. Let's see where we are when our schedule gets easier. In some ways, that's going to be a cool thing for the Raptors. All the hard stuff's at the beginning. And it's going to get easier as the season goes on. If these guys stay together, they don't get jaded. They don't get downtrodden because of a lot of losses. It could very well be that they take off in the second half of the season and go crazy with some win streaks just because they're playing the Nets, the Wizards, and the Hornets more often than the top teams in the league. Yeah, that's going to be fun. In some ways, that'll be interesting to see the different stages of the year and what's happening with us. Fiercely saying Gobert is not all that, in my opinion. I saw good and bad things. I'm extremely proud of how we kept the game competitive. It was good to watch. The turnovers cost us the game, but I'd rather early in the season. Yeah. Gobert isn't. You're right. He's goofy. If I was Gobert and I had his size and his athleticism, I would be dominating this league offensively. I don't understand how he's such a horrible offensive player. Seriously, I guess he just doesn't have any kind of touch. And you can tell from his free throw line that it is really this kind of thing where that man just has no big man touch. How the hell does he play in the league? Well, it's because he can block shots and he's a defensive force. Because if he had just had some sort of offensive hand touch, like a little bit like Jakob, if he could have just a little bit of what Jakob has, holy crap, this guy would be so good offensively because nobody can block his shots, but he doesn't get any shots because nobody trusts his ass because he is such a bad person with the ball in his hand. He's bad with his hand. He's bad with a microphone in his hand, too. Yeah. He was 6 for 8 last night, though. 15 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 4 blocks, including 2 blocks on one possession where he blocked the hell out of Jamison Battle and didn't let him get nothing down there. He kind of talked some shit to him, too. He had his team fired up. That's for sure. Yeah. All right, let's see. I'm Shake saying Grady is going to have a good season. Yeah, he is. He already is having a very, very good season. He already is. I'm Shake. Good to see you this morning. I'm Shake. Fiercely saying first quarter was the issue. Other 3 were solid, part of the learning process. Yeah, I mean, I don't like how the Raptors in the last few years let big leads happen in the first quarter, but we have to understand that other teams are coming in with a certain game plan to hit us. And if we are not ready to take the blows of the other team's plan because we're not experienced enough, or that's the excuse from last year. I mean, we're a veteran team and we're not coming out there and playing hard, and another team's up by 12, like 10 minutes into the game. That on a team with Pascal and Dennis Schroeder and OG Anunoby, that's on those guys. But this is different. Our team is so green that coming out there and dealing with these situations and these things happening it may happen from time to time. In some ways, the Sixers were not together and playing right at all on Friday night, and we capitalized on it. But this is, I don't know. This is different. Like I illustrated earlier, the Raptors need to start inside and build out because their three-point shooting is just not good enough. And that's tough when you have to play against a team that has a center called Rudy Gobert. That getting down there and getting going, it's tough because he's there and he's going to be messing you up in different ways. So you have to misdirect him. In some ways, Jakob had to pull him out of the lane if he could. And then Scotty and the other guys would try and sneak in and get shots at the basket. It's a tough task. And Chris Finch and the coaches of the Minnesota Timberwolves understand all this, and they are trying to safeguard things behind Gobert's back. They know they have the best defensive center in the league to stop people at the rim. Well, we draw him out, we get him out of there. Well, they have to have some other second backup plan. And that team, like I said, once again, is very far along in their quest to try and win a championship. And they're a top team in the West. They really are. Their record last year shows it, and they haven't had too much turnover. And like Matt and Jack were saying last night, it may be true that Minnesota won this trade with Cat. And Leo said it in the beginning of the game. It's actually very interesting what Leo Routon said about Karl Anthony Towns yesterday. He said, my own personal opinion, he's horrible, and he's not going to help the Knicks, and it's going to be a big fail, this trade. That's Leo making a very bold statement and prediction on our pregame show last night, saying that this is just how I feel, okay? And it's like, I'm just saying Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play right, and the Knicks are going to get burned by the end of the year because they acquired him in this deal. And then on the broadcast, Matt and Jack are talking about Randall and DiVincenzo and their add-on into the Timberwolves, and it's working. So it could very well be we thought that both teams lost that trade, but maybe the Timberwolves won that trade after all because Randall looked like he works real well with the Timberwolves last night. He didn't stick out like a sore thumb. He looked like he's very enthusiastic and excited to be on that team and playing like that. And DiVincenzo, listen, His number is 0, and he's upset, and he feels outcasted by his friends. Don't ever underestimate a guy like him with a chip on his shoulder in this league. And honestly, that dude is a badass with threes. He killed us last year against us on the Knicks and absolutely won one of the games against the Raptors single-handedly against us on the Knicks. And, well, he's picked up where he's left off on the Timberwolves, and in some ways he has more incentive than ever to come out and kill people. Like, 16 points, 4 of 11 shooting. He shot a lot, and he was 5 for 15, but still, he's an X factor. And he's going to be somebody that the Knicks nation is going to miss. They already miss him because they just like him. They're going to miss him because of his toughness and his baller attitude and the way he hits threes. And I'm telling you, this Knicks team's worse than it was last year for multiple reasons. And the subtraction of Hartenstein, DiVincenzo, and maybe even on the download, Julius Randle is going to be felt by that Knicks team by the end of this year. And they're going to be like, holy fuck, we were so good last year. What happened this year? Yeah, over trading, going too far. Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns. That's what I'm going to say about that. That's right. Boom goes a dynamite. Let's go. Stargate is here, the man in the machine. Fiercely saying, Mike Conley is on my fantasy team. So there you go. At least you got the benefits of the grizzly vet of Mike Conley. He's playing all that jazz. That's right. Trevor's saying Timberwolves fans love all the young guys. On our team or their team? Jordan Bolton watching the game last night. He's saying, before the game, I got to check out the Raptors. Being a big-time Timberwolves fan, our good friend King Bolton, best friend of Gary Trent Jr., was watching the game. I told Jordan before the game, it's going to be a long season for the Raptors. We're very, very young, but we had a great time beating Coach Nurse on Friday night. And Jordan liked my reply, so he saw what I said. And, well, he got to see us last night. It's probably fun for King Bolton to watch the Raptors after watching them for a few years because of Gary, and seeing Grady and Chris and Scotty and their progress, knowing them from before, and then seeing all the new guys. And Jordan was probably like, wow, what a turnover. This is a totally different team than the second half of the season last year and all those guys that were running around with Gary in the second half when the Raptors are trying to just scrap something together without Scotty and Jakob. I actually kind of like a lot of these young players. And I'll bet you that's how King Bolton was saying last night. He was like, wow, Jamal Shedd's kind of nice. He's kind of nice. That Battle kid. Oh, yeah, I know Battle. He went to high school here. Robbinsdale. Yeah, I remember him. He went to high school where Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude and Animal Hawk. Road Warrior Hawk and Nikita Koloff. These guys all went to Robbinsdale High School. Way back in the day, the old wrestlers. It was like a hotbed. There were like 5 or 6 of them. Barry Darsow, Demolition Smash, all went to the same high school as Jameson Battle. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff right there. Shere Khan is here. We got a former Raptor freak, Rookie of the Year, Shere Khan in the house, the MVP of Raptors Tonight. Are they not doing Raptors Tonight like they used to? It's weird. They're not very long. And are they going to be going back to real sports is what I'm wondering. What's going on, Raptors Tonight, Randy Urban? Are y'all doing your thing this year or not? I haven't seen any of your episodes yet. It's something weird. Shere Khan saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Love the effort. Down big, but able to make it a game down the stretch. Down 4 rotation guys. 2 starters and 2 bench players. I'm getting those pre-2019 championship vibes. The bright north side. I love that. Shere Khan, you're awesome, man. I'm going to give you a dunk because, honestly, you've been so positive through the years of knowing you around this channel. And also, you're just such a knowledgeable guy, too. And I really do appreciate your basketball knowledge and the great questions you ask. And just who you are, dude. You're just an awesome Raptors fan. You really are. I'm going to give you a 40. You're at 42. You got a 5-pointer on that one. So talking about what you're saying here is, all right, I won't say that we're pre-2019, but I would say we're about 2015 or 2016 before that 2019. We're definitely, maybe we're in Fred VanVleet's first year, his rookie year, and Jamal Shedd's rookie year. And those are kind of the times to compare and say this is that from before and this is now. So it's like Fred VanVleet's rookie year and his growth to where he got and we got in the championship. Well, Jamal Shedd's career should be very similar in some ways. Get a G League championship in your first 2 years, Jamal Shedd, and then, boom, get a championship in your first 4 years. How about that? Can you do that, Jamal Shedd? So I want to say, what is that? That's going to be like 2029. Maybe we're going to get a championship 2028 around there. Maybe that'd be awesome. I'll be all about that. That's right. Monique is giving us the news. They had the G League draft yesterday. Our guy Luke Wynn GM of the Raptors 905, on the phone doing the picks with Coach Drew Jones yesterday. We got a lot of different players, actually. But Tyler Perry was the first pick in the draft for us. That's right, Tyler Perry. Y'all may be like, I know that name. Is that guy Medea? No, it's not Medea. It's the guy who was on our summer league this summer, and he got spot duty. He didn't play a whole lot, but he did hit some threes. He was a very good three-point shooter. In some ways, he reminded me a lot of Trey Bell Haynes on the Team Canada squad. So Tyler Perry officially back on 905 or on 905. He was a summer league player for us this summer. And that's pretty cool. We also picked up a couple of other players on there. And Miles Burns is back, and so is Kevin O'Banner. I'm pretty sure Amari Moore is back too. But I don't know that for sure exactly yet. Dylan Disu is supposed to be on that team too. I need a roster for the 905 very soon. I might do the research and figure it out and put a spreadsheet out so you guys can see it, because this 905 roster is really kind of interesting with all of the great players that are young on our team, rookies and two ways. And I want to see what exactly we're dealing with and just how we're going to win our G League championship this year. Seriously, because we got the players. It's going to be awesome, Mo. 905 is going to be badass. And listen, I listened to Cowboy's suggestion in the last couple of days that maybe we should do our first Raptor Freak meet and greet at the 905 at Paramount 5 Food Center for a game. And I'm targeting a game on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. How about it? We'll go to a game on a 2 o'clock, and I think the one against the Westchester Knicks on December 8th at 2 o'clock is the game I want to aim for. And maybe we can all go to it, as many as possible. Maybe Gerald and Kareem, since those guys are 905 guys who don't live that far from the arena, can be free on that Sunday against Westchester Knicks on December the 8th. I believe that's the date. Bradley, you circle your calendar, and since it was your suggestion, and we'll go down there, and Raptor Freaks will take over a 905 game on December the 8th against the Westchester Knicks. Let's see if we can make this happen, y'all. I'll drive on over from out here in the country in my hybrid truck, and I'll come and show up, and we'll all go to the game together, sit in the crowd, and get loud and rowdy for our 905ers. How about that? How's that sound? That's my rough draft sketch. There are 3 different games. If that date does not work for people in general, maybe we'll do a different one. But that's the one that the reason why I like that day is there's no Raptor game that day. And sometimes there's Raptor games on the days of 905 games. And I don't want to have it mixed up where I got to do a preview for a Raptors game, and then we got to go to the game, and then we got to still watch the Raptors game afterwards. I'd rather be a day where it's just 905 completely that day. And I'm thinking December the 8th for the Westchester Knicks visiting Paramount 5 Food Center is the right date. I think that date's right, December the 8th. Go look at it on the schedule. And if you guys like this idea, and enough of us are actually really into it, let's go do it. In fact, I might be able to pick up a couple of people also on the way if you're going to have a trouble getting out to Mississauga. As long as you're not somewhere crazy in the city that's going to be really hard for me to get to grab you and scoop you. But I may have 3 seats in my truck to drive people there. So we'll figure this out. I like the idea by Bradley this week, and I think that may be the one we should do it at, just so y'all know. Raptor Freak meet and greet, 905, baby, versus Westchester Knicks on December the 8th. See if you can make it in your schedule. And even if you meet up with us there, come and sit with us. We'll all sit together, and we'll be that rowdy Raptor Freak crew. That's right. There you go. Fiercey's saying DiVincenzo was also a factor with 3-pointers. Yeah, he's got a baller kind of attitude. He's got a competitiveness, and I'm telling you, he's got a chip on his shoulder now that he's an outcast from his family in New York. That's right. He's got a chip on his shoulder. That's evident from him yelling at Rick Brunson. Let's go 905. That's right, Bradley. Let's go to the game. Nameless is saying it's hard to believe Joe Ingles is only 23 years old. Okay, I made that one up. You trying to make a joke here? Because that's a good one, honestly. That's funny. Some people have said that Joe Ingles is like Australian Nick Nurse. In some ways, I think that's funny as hell. It's like if you put Nick Nurse in Australia, he would be Joe Ingles. I think that's kind of funny. Nameless, that is a hilarious joke. You get rewarded for this. There's no way that Joe Ingles is actually only 3 years old. That's hilarious. 5 points for you, 94 dunks for you, my guy. That's hilarious. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. If healthy, we beat that team last night. 2 starters and 3 projected rotation players on the sidelines, and to come back like that. I will say this. With IQ out there playing for us, maybe the turnovers are cut down a bit more. Maybe they are. Seriously. I mean, Davion did really well. He got 8 assists with 0 turnovers. He didn't have any turnovers. But, IQ's out there and Davion's the backup point guard. That may cover things up a little bit better for the amount of turnovers we got last night. So, that could have been a factor. If Quickly was available, he could have helped us in that way, possibly. And maybe RJ's helping us too with not committing so many turnovers, also. Mo's saying 905 also bringing Advanced Jackson Jr. and Charles Pride. Welcome back, Miles Burns. Yeah, these are the two new players. I thank you, Monique, for having the cue card and telling me those names. I didn't look at them at all. It's so busy that maybe I should go look at them. Vance Jackson Jr. and Charles Pride. Now, these guys are probably like, you got to think about this. We have so many players that we're trying to develop at the 905 that are involved in the Raptors with Jamal Shed, Jonathan Mobo, Ulrich Shomshe, Jamison Battle, maybe even Jacoby Walter playing down there. DJ Carton will be playing on the 905. It may be that guys like Charlie Pride, Charles Pride, I want to say Charlie Pride, that's an old singer, and Vance Jackson Jr. are not going to be very prominent players on the 905. They're going to be just to fill out the roster. I think that's very likely. Same for Tyler Perry. I don't think that, you could actually look at how much Tyler Perry played at Summer League, which was very little. And that may be the same on G League. Just because there's so many guys that are invested in and ahead of them on the depth chart, it'll be very hard for these guys to make waves and move up in the organization, because there's guys that are obviously invested that we want to be having out there. Fiercely saying Ant-Man trolled Grady and Oshai when he split their defense and made the basket. I'm hoping they will remember it and surprise him at some time later. Yeah, that was very smart of Anthony Edwards. He kind of delayed and let them run by him, and then he made the shot. That's a cool highlight. I mean, listen, the dude is very, very skilled. He's a very, very good player. And, I like him. I like him a lot. I think that in this league right now, the guy who's closest to Michael Jordan is Anthony Edwards. In some ways, he looks like him in certain ways. He plays like him in certain ways. And he has the closest kind of Air Jordan kind of I'm going to kill you kind of attitude in this league right now. And that's part of the reason why he should be a face of the league. If I was going to say who's the closest to Kobe Bryant in this league, I would say DeMar DeRozan is. So the closest to Michael Jordan in this league right now is Anthony Edwards. I really do believe that. Let's see. Monique's saying Jamison Battle is rubbing on me super nice. He's rubbing on you? When's he coming and rubbing on you? That sounds crazy. You just like him a lot. Yeah, he's cool, isn't he? I think that the thing I like about Jamison, and this is a symptom of a player who keeps their whole entire college career intact and stays for the 4 years, is they come way more polished and way more ready to contribute in very helpful ways. And that is Jamal Shed. That is Jamison Battle. These guys didn't skip any steps. They took their whole entire college career. And that's why even Jamison Battle had 5 years in college, because he was there during COVID year and he took an extra year because of that year. So he had 5 years in college. And that is really showing right now. Jonathan Mobo, another player that played 4 years in college. So these are reasons why these guys are more ready. And this is what the NBA has been lacking for like decades now, since they opened up the floodgates. You got to go 1 year at least. It wasn't, you didn't even have to go. Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, and a lot of guys would just do that, like DeMar. Guys who go for 4 years, they come to the NBA way more prepared to be able to play right away. And I like that. Carlos saying Kansas Twins growing, Wichita Wizard. Yeah, I love that one floating shot that he did. That whoop, and it just fell right through the middle of the hoop. It's such a signifier of Grady's skill with how he shoots. That little floater he made, very high in the air floater that went, and it just dropped right through the middle. I love those kind of shots. Those are fun shots. Those are horse shots, right? Those are horse shots. Wayne's saying, with the absence of our core starting cohort, we're basically developing a productive team. If this exposure is learned and maintained when the starting core returns, development is happening for sure. Yeah, I think there's no denying of this. Maybe we were a suspect about development in the years of Malachi Flynn and Nick Nurse. But I think they're accelerating development, especially for people like Jamal Shed and Jonathan Mobo. And even Jamison Battle. Like, listen, the amount of Battle's getting to play in minutes that matter and things that matter is so valuable. And I think that is a big thing. And Wayne's exactly right here. You're exposing them to real game situations and not in garbage time, not in times where the game is absolutely out of control. They're out there competing and fighting to help us try and win the game in very valuable times. Often these young players that come in the league, they stashed away and they don't even see stuff. Rob Dillingham ain't even come out for the Timberwolves and played for them yet because they got everybody healthy and there ain't no time to put them in there. Meanwhile, we've got injuries. We're inserting these guys and they're getting real time, real experience and high level NBA playing against high level teams right now. That goes a long way. And thank you, Wayne, for being here with me once again on a Sunday morning. That's right. Monique saying, I love that saying, Carlo, Kansas Wizard, the Wichita Wizard. Yeah. Is this going to be his nickname? No, don't make it his nickname because there's a team in this league. And God forbid Grady Dick ever has to suit up for Washington. Oh, God forbid. Never let that happen to our poor Grady. Do not let him go there to the land of Jonas. No. People are going to want Grady too. This is going to be the thing that's going to be annoying is that in some ways, Grady's going to be sought after in this league in different ways. And somebody might try and seagull him from us. So we mean to be vigilant and protective of keeping our Grady here. Seriously, we don't want to lose our dick. Let's just put it that way. All right. How about that? Yeah. Detachable penis. No! I was walking down the street one day and I saw it there on the mat in front of the guy was selling things on the side of the road. It was my detachable penis. No, we don't want a detachable penis king missile. No, we don't. Oh, shit. No, we don't. That's a really weird reference. That G saying, I don't do more victories either. But this year, I set my expectations differently. So there will be a moral victory here and there for me, watching for energy, growth, and progress. Yeah. I think it's because Fred made it so known that like moral victories, no, we can't believe in those. We can't be happy with those. And I you know what? You're right, though. This is the parameters for this year. This is a rebuilding development year, and moral victories can happen. And we will go with them. That's right. Kaz has got me on blast, and he's also got Jamal Shed on blast. Take him to the shed, Jamal. That's right. Fusey saying, I'm so happy our rookies are doing well statistically. Bring out the rookie rankings. That's right. I want to see what's happening. Come on, ESPN. You like to rank everything. Let's rank the farts of the best players in the league. Oh, LeBron, your farts are so smelly and good. Yeah, you're number one on the fart rankings. ESPN will rank anything they fucking can rank. Well, you better rank them rookies, and you better do it goddamn now. Because our rookies are on the top of that list. They better be. That's what I'm saying. Trevor is saying this real quick. It jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get back to my spot. Got to get back to my spot here. Wow, you guys are filling it up. I love to see that. All right, where is the spot? Where's my spot? Maybe I'm okay. Here it is. Trevor's saying, I hope we beat the Nuggets on Monday. Nuggets bench is no good. They suck. Beat up by LA Clippers. That's actually kind of surprising to me that the Nuggets lost the Clippers. The Clippers, I don't expect much from them. Although, they got James Harden and Norman Powell. Norman Powell has been huge for the Clippers so far this season. Not only scored the first bucket in their new arena, he is the guy who's playing second fiddle to James Harden right now as far as the 1-2 punch. No more Russell, no more Paul George. Kawhi's on the shelf. So our guy Norman has had to step up in their absences and be very aggressive in helping the Clippers. I saw a really cool interview with him and Danny Green yesterday. Danny Green, of course, recently retired from the NBA, and he has a degree in communication. We know from doing the green room with Danny Green, he's going to be in announcing. He already has. He was interviewing Norman after the game against the Nuggets in his role, and it was really cool because obviously it's our guys, it's our champions. And, they had to take a moment to recognize their Toronto connection as champions in 2019. And Danny's saying, hey, Norm, how you doing, man? He's like, hey, Danny, I love you, man. Toronto forever, my guy, is basically what he said. And I just love that. That's so awesome. And, yeah, Norman basically told everybody, he's like, look, I'm being depended on with the Kawhi out to be helping James to win this team with this team. I think that in some ways the Clippers are going to have a very bad year this year. But them beating the Nuggets is very interesting to me. I wouldn't have called that because, honestly, Michael Malone, his team should be better than the Clippers because the Clippers have lost a lot of good players, and Kawhi's not even playing. So, it's going to be weird. That's a weird – and that, in some ways, is telling us the Nuggets are susceptible, seriously, because that Clippers team ain't as good as it was last year. And in some ways, that's bad for the Nuggets. Really bad. Yeah. Back in Scotiabank Arena tomorrow versus Denver. I think Monique's gone to every single home game so far. She ain't messing around. She's not skipping any of them. Monique is getting down there with the vibes and doing her part for our fan nation, going to our home games. She'll be back. I was offered tickets for tomorrow, and I was like, I don't really want to go to the Nuggets game, so I'm not going to go down there. But Mo, you bring those vibes and kick some butt. And yeah, let's beat Joker tomorrow. How about that? Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see Shaq Lindsay. Development department. I hope people can see that this year, instead of the wins and the losses. Yeah. Yeah. And so as Raptors fans, you want to get a PhD in learning about basketball? Come watch a Raptors Freak and listen to us and talk with us and tell us what's wrong. Tell us why you're upset, and I will soothe your pain. I will break it down to you in a way where you can accept it. So, yeah, this is what we got to do, Shaq Lindsay. If you're out in social media world and you're hearing a lot of out-of-pocket opinions and people chicken littling, getting on a ledge, say, oh, no, the Raptors, what happened to them? Well, let's educate you. You obviously don't come from a basketball background and you're just hip to being a Raptors fan because it's like, Raptors are cool. I like the Raptors. Well, let's educate you. Come on in. Come on in. There's lots of room. Sit down. And this is Professor Nameless. This is Professor Monique. We're going to teach you some lessons about basketball real quick. Yeah, we'll do this, Shaq Lindsay. So if you find any forlorn, lost sheep out there, direct them to me. Name is saying, in Jakob's defense, he is playing with a lot of irregular, inexperienced players right now. Yeah, I mean, I want to say this. Jamal Shed and Emmanuel Quickly and different people have taken a special interest in learning Jakob and where he likes to get the ball. That's the sign of a good point guard, that these guys wanted to work with him this summer extensively to figure out, where do you like to catch the ball, Jakob, and how can we get you the most successful? So it's weird. There's a little bit of everything in this. You're right. It is a team that isn't as talented. And this is what some of the detractors of this team were saying, that we're going to have a hard time competing in talent. But it's not always talent. Sometimes it's just greenness and turnovers also. But when we get RJ and Emmanuel back, maybe it won't be talent. Maybe, who knows? We'll have to see. But you're right. You're right. In some ways, the passing between Jakob and other players has been hit and miss. But it's going to get better. One of the things I don't like is the weak sauce passes that have been happening recently, where guys are just casually throwing the ball to people and they're getting seagulled, picked off, and the other team's running away with it. Yeah, no weak-ass passing, guys. Crisp passing. Crisp. Put something into it and make sure it's getting to where it's supposed to go, and make sure you've connected with the person you're passing to, eye contact. That's one of the things that Scotty's not doing exactly right. He can try and pass it and do some crazy improvisational split-second passing that he sees an opportunity. But if his teammate is not paying attention and can't see it, they're not going to catch it in time. It's going to be a turnover. So that's one thing Scott's got to remember still, is like, just because you see it and your impulse is to throw it to somebody, they may not be ready for it. And that is not a good pass. Because that's what they teach in basics of basketball when you first learn, is eye contact with the person you're going to pass it to so that they know it's coming. And if you're throwing it to Jakob and his back is to you and he's looking the other way, how's he going to turn around and catch the ball? This is what I'm going to say. So there's some of this stuff's got to be worked out in some ways. Shaq Lindsay saying the growth of Grady, Oshai, and Scotty is important to the future of our team. Yes. Yes, those three guys for sure. RJ, Emmanuel also. Nameless is saying, I wouldn't read too much into Jakob's underperforming right now. I don't think he underperformed. He underperformed in the first game of the season, had one of the worst games he's ever played for the Raptors. He had an exceptional game on Friday night. And then last night he had, a B- type of game. Honestly, in my book, it wasn't a bad game at all last night. He was doing important stuff. That's right. Trevor's saying Mobo's defense on Edwards making that shot clock run out. Yeah, he's had some really good wow moments and different things. And once again, he's getting after it. I love how he's all over the place. And I love that he is just running his ass off. It's great that he's friends with Chris too. I know that Scotty and Chris are really close, but Jonathan is immediately close with Chris too. And that's something that both of them share, is that all-out hustle. If Jonathan Mobo tries to be like Chris Boucher with the hustle play, it's going to be a very bright NBA future for him. He's got to make that his calling card and keep going. Don't stop. Shaq's saying we still haven't seen Quickly and RJ gel with this group yet. Well, they have on the down low. That's the thing. We spent so much time this summer And when they come back, you'll see it. I mean, Emmanuel gels with people real easy. He's just that kind of player build. Now, RJ, I would worry a little bit more about him being a step off with the other players when he comes back, but Emmanuel will be fine. So we'll see. We'll see. I just want them back as soon as possible. And Barrett, play tomorrow, please. Please, please play tomorrow, RJ. Come on, man. Jakob Pertl, I mean, not Jakob, Jonas Valanciunas running into him in the preseason, the first preseason game. Was it really that bad? Come on. You're a tough guy. You're a tough guy, RJ. Get back out there. Come on, man. Name was saying the league is definitely trying to bury us. Just look at the teams we're played so far. Man, stop this. Seriously. Who cares? They're going to put the gauntlet in front of us. We're going to take it like men and go out there and fight through it. In some ways, I don't want to wah, wah, wah. I'm not going to get a tiny violin out, my paisano. It was so sad. Such a sad story. The league is trying to bury us. Oh, boo-hoo. Who cares? They can't bury us. We're that zombie team. We're going to put our arm out through the ground and pull ourselves back up up above the subterranean level. No. Don't get it twisted, Nameless. We're not a sad sack story of boo-hoo-hoo making excuses. No, we take the challenge, we come to meet it, and we improve every day, and we do better and better. And boom, goes the dynamite. We got a second Larry O'Brien. So, yeah, we can't look at it this. The league is definitely trying to bury us. Well, they're not just trying to bury us. They're trying to bury the Portland Trailblazers. They're trying to bury the Washington Wizards. They're trying to bury the Charlotte Hornets. They're trying to bury every team at the bottom. And in some ways, they're trying to bury the Denver Nuggets. And they're a top team. How about that? How about that? Shaq Lindsay saying, I'm so happy to see the growth of Dick and Oshai. All right now, Shaq. All right now, Shaq Lindsay. All right now. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, was worried about Oshai at the beginning of the year, but after seeing him after a couple of games, he's definitely a part of our future. There you go. Yeah, he had a horrible summer league. And I get it why people are like, why do we have Oshai on this team? But in some ways, it's like, casual fans won't understand the defensive energy he's expending out on the court and just how strong he is and how quick he is. And that combination of athleticism is very valuable in this league. And now we're seeing some of the offensive side of stuff. And now people are starting to wake up and be like, okay, yeah, I see why we need to continue with Abaji. Yeah. Yeah. I like this. I like this, that he's getting success early in the season, because if he wasn't, people would be saying like, what the fuck is this guy on my team? Yeah. Carlos saying Mobo's potential off the charts. Wait till they develop his offensive touches. That is a long time from now, Carlo. Seriously, he's got to get good at everything else. In some ways, we could maybe compare him to OG in this way. Think about OG's career and how he really fine-tuned all the really good defensive stuff he does. And then the offense was built later. And that may be the case. And also, once again, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to get burned like I did with Siakam. I don't know if this will ever happen, because in some ways, he's a really good rebounder, hustle, energy guy. And that's what Siakam was when he came in. And when I pegged Siakam, I said, well, I'm so glad to have a Rodman 2020 coming in here like Siakam. But Siakam was way more than I thought. And he did expand his game like that. Now, could Mobo expand his game like Pascal Siakam? Yeah. But is it likely? No. No, it's not likely. It's not likely. But we'll see. I want him to get the track of development like OG Anunoby had, and defense first is the thing he's got to nail down. If he could be a shutdown defender for our team, the next great one on our team, which he's showing some signs of it, this would be way more valuable than him trying to score a bunch for us. Of course, sure, the scoring will come. He'll get dunks. He'll get alley-oops. He'll hit some threes here and there. But in some ways, we really want to focus on developing Jonathan Mobo to be a premium defender in the NBA is much more worthwhile. Kareem's here. Good to see the butt dialer. Actually, you're not the butt dialer anymore. You've lost that moniker. You are now full assing because you are not the butt dialer and our dunk champion. Kenne's here. Original Raptor Freak Kenne. Amazing game. We will learn from this. Minnesota threw everything at us. Yeah, Chris Finch is a weird coach. And he's good. He's good. He's done a good job there. It's kind of amazing the Timberwolves have only made the playoffs 5 times in their whole existence. And 3 of them were in the last 3 years, guys. Seriously, think about that. Seriously, the Timberwolves have been in the league longer than the Raptors. And they only made the playoffs 5 times. 5 times in like 35 years, guys. And 3 of those years were in the last 3 years under Chris Finch. So in some ways, Chris Finch is a god in Minnesota. They love him so much because he's given them tastes of the playoffs. You know, it's weird because in Minnesota, the Lynx really rule that city. with so many championships in the WNBA. And the Timberwolves are kind of more of an afterthought after their WNBA team in some ways, because the success of the Lynx has been so much more enjoyable for that community. And they want to get success with the Timberwolves at some point. And Chris Finch has been guiding them more and more towards that. And it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see. Kareem is saying, once again, there's plenty of ribbons to give out, but my star goes to Oshai. This is personal because I've written him off since Summer League. Oshai continues to prove to me he's a great player. There you go. Another person like Shaq Lindsay is saying, I was suspicious of Oshai Abaji and his role and what he's doing with us. But now I'm starting to see it. And Kareem is another one. Turnaround on this. And I like this, guys. I like this. We're positive Raptors fans. We want to stand by our team. We want to see guys like Abaji get better and better. That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. Trevor's saying 79 games to go. We will be better before Christmas. I believe that. I love that. I love that a lot. His name is saying a Santino, a Buongiorno, Bello Mio. Bello Mio. And here's a teddy bear, young man. Here's a teddy bear from Uncle Nameless. You will not see his face. It'll be blurred out. And you'll hear his voice like, Bello Mio. That's like if you go and meet Nameless. I know Monique met him at a game once. Like, it'd be funny if he was just walking around with like a blurred over his head. And if he talked, he always sounded like, hey, Lex, how you doing, man? What's going on, Raptors freak? And he has like one of those distorted voices, like he's in witness protection. I just imagine him to be like that. I know he's not, but that would be funny. Wayne's saying, somehow watching this team, I'm not seeing many bonehead mistakes by our team. I credit this to Darko. Raptor freaks, we are not playing bad basketball. The major concern is consistent shooting. You know, this is a good take. And you know what? I'll get behind this. Yeah, if we could make more of the shots and execute them, that'd be good. There are bad turnovers that we could cut out, though. I mean, this is just true. Some of it is bad passes. Some of it is like stepping out. Some of it is travel. Rookie mistakes happening, and that's just natural. It happens to every great rookie that comes in the league. There's going to be rookie mistakes and learning curve, and in some ways, this will get better, and that'll be part of what gets cleaned up, and will look even better. I mean, look, we competed with a top Western Conference team without two of our starters last night, and we had an abundance of turnovers. Those turnovers can get cleaned up over the rest of the season, and those shots can fall better. I like Wayne's slant on this, and I think he's not that far off on it. Jason Dukes is in the house. Jason Dukes, Duke Rocks, our original NBA fantasy champion of the first year we played. Seeing the talent on the team makes me yearn to see what a healthy roster looks like. I can hardly wait. There you go. This is buoying the spirits of Jason as he continues to recover. God bless you, Jason. And I hope that you continue to feel better and better every single day. That's right. I can't hardly wait either. Mo's saying, yes, Lex, that was Dion Ferguson I met this week. Man, you should see his Raptors tattoos. That's his name, Dion, that Raptors fan. He was like a guy who went downtown to get a free jersey, and it was a scam. And the Raptors heard about it, and they felt bad about it, and they brought him in and got a jersey. I believe that's his story. Yeah, he's a cool guy, and I appreciate him. Dion, if you ever come find the Raptors freaks, well, you're one already, so come on in and get in the family because we miss you, my guy. Come home is what I'm saying to Raptor freak, Dion. That's right. That's right. Carlos saying Randall adds toughness, and DiVincenzo's shooting is sublime. Yeah, these guys are New York state of mind guys. They're gritty. And in some ways, Cat's a big softy. Bodega Cat. What is this silly Bodega Cat shit? And that's what kind of Leo was talking about at the beginning of the game. The Cat's soft. And Cat is certain different things. DiVincenzo and Randall are competitors. And they come from the streets of New York in some ways in their mentality. And that's going to really help Minnesota with mental toughness in certain ways in the Western Conference playoffs this year, is what I'm going to say right now. It's much like in the same respects of Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein for the Thunder. These guys are grizzled veterans in this league that are gone through wars already and have a lot of experience. And those two guys are going to help the Thunder as those two other guys are going to help the Timberwolves. Yeah, I can see that. Country Kong's here, guys. Whoa, JP, it's been so long. I didn't put you on the fantasy because I hadn't seen you all summer. But I'm really happy to see my guy Country Kong back in the chat. My guy, I love it, man. So happy to see you. Of course, Grady has a good game, his career high. Country Kong's going to come out of the woodworks and say hi to us. Lex, Grady was amazing last night. He's finally coming into his own. I think his potential is scary, very scary. His catch and shoot is like Clay, but his finishes at the rim are like Steph. Just incredible touch. Yeah, that yeah, there were some real moments last night. I like how he's doing little turnarounds here and there sometimes. He's really trying to fight to find his shot, aggressive with it. And there was a whole flurry of shot blocking kind of around him last night. And he's still managing to try and figure out how to get shots off in congestion down near the basket with a Gobert hanging around. And in some ways, that is super impressive, Country Kong. That in some ways, he's got big balls. That Dick kid, yeah, he does. He's got some real confidence to go in there and do some of the things he's trying to do on the court and executing the way he's doing stuff. Yeah, JP, I love you, man, and I appreciate you being back. I'm sorry you're not in the league this year. It's just we cut the league down to 16 teams, and it was really who was around that jumped in and took the spots. But JP, always the best to you. And maybe you can come to the 905 game with us, December the 8th against Westchester Knicks. This is going to be the first Raptor Freak meet and greet for the year. And we're going to go do that. Yeah, y'all come down there. Seriously, if you want to, man. So happy to see Country Kong back today. G saying, Wolves did win this trade. I thought that the moment it happened, the Knicks traded away a sniper and a bully ball player for a soft center. Yep. G's so smart. G is like one of the most intelligent people on this channel, and he's seeing what I'm seeing. I didn't know this for sure because in some ways I thought that maybe DiVincenzo and Randall may be like really pissed and they're not happy to be in Minnesota. But after watching them play with them last night and how they're fitting in, I'm not worried about that anymore. And that's how I can declare I think the Timberwolves won this trade. As before, it was fishy because in some ways it seemed like the first game that Randall played for the Timberwolves, he was not happy to be there. And in some ways was DiVincenzo too distracted with his hate for being cast aside by Knicks franchise. He distracted from that. So, but no, the evidence from last night is those guys are gelling really well already. And they're going to really help the Timberwolves, seriously. From my educated opinion, watching the NBA for decades. That's what I'm seeing right now. That's right. MK's here. Good to see Meredith, our WNBA two-time champion, undefeated this season. Oh, my gosh. What time is the 905 game at? If it's not too late, I'm going to try and come out. Wait, is this Meredith or is it different MK? There's different ones. Dude, come for sure, MK. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on December the 8th is when we're thinking it'll be Westchester Knicks. I think that's the right schedule. Let me go look at this real quick. Raptors 905 schedule. I looked at it last night. And I kind of discerned that may be the best one as far as all the different ones that I'm seeing. Sunday, December the 8th, 2 p.m., Paramount 5 Food Center, Westchester Knicks versus Raptors 905. There is not a Raptors game that day, so that is a better day to do it. I would say December the 15th against the Maine Celtics. Oh, wait, that's not here. Never mind. That game is not in Toronto. At Mississauga. So, the 8th of December, Westchester Knicks, guys. That's what I'm saying. Let's get the Raptor Freaks down to Paramount 5 Food Center. And I hope you guys can come. Name is saying, that's a great idea. Meet and greet at the 905. I can't afford them Raptors tickets, man. No one can. I've got shares of VST to buy, man. Okay. Okay, Nameless. And in some ways, he can do that because he's a nameless man. Nobody knows what he's doing. That's right. Yeah, I hope you guys will all come. Seriously. All right, let's see. Stargate is saying, I just want to see how this team looks with a stretch of games with a full healthy roster. In my opinion, it's pointless evaluating this team right now on any real level with significant key players missing. Yeah, let's not analyze the team as the team. Let's analyze the individuals and what they're doing with their personal growth. I think that's much more wiser to do right now. Like looking at Grady and seeing how he's growing right in front of our eyes. Yeah, there's a joke there. I'm not going to do it. And then Shed. The way that Shed has come into the league and doing what he's doing, Mobo, Battle, Oshai, there's a lot of good personal growth stories right now around the Raptors. And in some ways, the individual growth is what we should look at right now because the whole cast of characters isn't there. I totally get what Stargate's saying. I agree with it. Fiercely saying, gotta go, fam. Enjoy your day. W Stream. Back at you. Fiercely Saucer. We love you, MJ. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday and just have all the blessings in the world on this great Sunday. Trevor J saying NBA Chev called Grady Tom Grady. We don't want him to call him Dick. He's calling him Tom Grady. Grady Tom. Okay. Is that because of like Tom Brady? You want to call him Tom Grady? Is Tom Brady? Okay, like the Patriots great Tom Brady. Okay, I get that. That's interesting. Grady Richard. Yeah. You notice Jack Armstrong will never say Grady's last name by itself. He always says Grady Dick. He always says that. I think that Jack Armstrong, in some ways, listen, somebody said this week that Jack Armstrong's losing it. I don't think he's losing it. He's just himself and he's older. And in some ways, he's got his old world personality and ways of doing things. And you'll never, ever hear him call him just Dick. No, you won't. He got burned by Ron Jeremy. Yeah, he did. Now, what was the Jack Armstrong moment last night? He was talking about his mom and talking about, is Eli Manning still on the Yankees? And I was like, oh no, oh no. And I'm like, Jack, don't tell this story. I mean, you're kind of making your mom, yeah. I mean, I get it. My mother has said some crazy stuff in sports talks with me where she is absolutely out to lunch with what is going on. But yeah, her asking about Eli Manning, if whether Eli Manning is still playing for the Yankees in the World Series right now, yeah, face palm. But it is kind of funny too. I mean, but like Jack Armstrong had to put that in there. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like he's such a good young man with his brother and his dad. I'm like, oh man, Eli Manning on the Yankees. Ooh, Wayne's saying somewhat of a change of topic, and it's about leadership. Scotty is the somewhat leader of this team, but he's not it now. I truly think the leader of this team now is the coach. Easy for the coach. Well, that's the way it should be. There's a hierarchy to NBA franchises. Masai Ujiri is the buck stops here, team president, in charge, and on top of things. In some ways, that is so necessary. You have too many cooks in the kitchen, different job titles, and they're kind of having a power struggle at the top. It's like the U.S. government. You don't get jack shit done. So having one person steering the car at the top, like Masai, it starts there. And then when you get to the team level, well, the coach should be the leader. I've never agreed with arrangements like the Lakers, with LeBron James being more important than his coach, and that Darko should be the guy who's above Scott and IQ and RJ and all this, because that's healthy for a basketball team. And Scott understands that. It's like, that's my coach. He's got my back. I've got his back. We're on the same page. And in some ways, yes, this is exactly right. And Darko's showing extremely good leadership. He cares about his players. He cares about his players to the point that they are willing to do crazy things for him because they know how much he cares. But there's a hierarchy, and Scotty is the number one franchise player on the team. And in some ways, it's once again, we'll say this. Kawhi Leonard was a leader on our team the year we won the championship, but he didn't say jack shit to anybody else. He led on the court by playing a very, very supreme level of basketball. And in some ways, that is a way that Scott may lead in more ways, is by example and by giving energy to the court and showing, hey, I'm busting my ass as the number one guy on this team. That means every single one of y'all need to be out there busting your asses too. But Scotty is a communicator. Scotty is giving instruction. Scotty is telling guys what spots to be in and telling guys help on defense in different ways like that too. So it's great. And in some ways, the silent leadership of the silent cyborg assassin of Kawhi Leonard in 2019 is not the same leadership of Scott. So we get a communicative guy who could be the leadership of Kawhi, along with a communicating guy too. So there's still little things that are happening out on the court, like Davion Mitchell not shouting out to one of our players that here comes Mike Conley behind you, and he's about to strip the ball from you behind DJ Carton. That kind of stuff is happening still. And that the communication needs to be all the time. And if you see a defensive player about to screw up one of our players who has the ball into a turnover, you need to tell them, and you need to tell them loudly so they hear you. Yeah. The leadership hierarchy is right and just as far as the way it should be for an NBA team. Monique saying, W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Good times are learning and growing. Raptor Freak family crew, strong forever. Thank you for the cutoff, Mo. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of things we normally do. Like, here's Leo's life tip. Good morning. Enjoy a quiet coffee. Have a blessed Sunday. And rest and be thankful. That's right. Rest and be thankful. There's no Raptors game today. It's Sunday. You have the day off. So go outside, touch grass, even if it's a little cold, and just get a little nature in your life. Touch base with the natural world and be thankful. Find a place to be having gratitude in your life, and your life will be better. Here's the Instagram stories real quick. Emmanuel quickly has posted a quote by John Gordon, and it's very, very sums up what we're talking about here. This is IQ. It's not easy. It might take longer than you expect. There will be days you question yourself and wonder if it's worth it or if you are on the right path. Trust your gut, pay your dues, work hard and smart, and eventually success will come. I love that. That's the attitude of our point guard, Emmanuel Quickly, being expressed on his Instagram stories. He gets it. He sees the whole big picture, and this is how he's looking at the whole situation with the Raptors right now. Yurit Shamshay is celebrating Thierry Darlin, who got picked by the Rip City Remix as pick 4 in the 2024 G League draft. He must be some guy he knows from maybe Africa or somewhere else. But yeah, Shamshay, happy about that. And he's got a picture of him coming into the game last night. And Shamshay, are you using your rookie bag or not? Because it doesn't look like it. Is it hidden in your leather bag? You can't do that. Don't get around the rules, Yuris Shamshay. But yeah, so happy to see you on the Raptors, and you keep striving and achieving, my guy. That's right. Norman Powell's got a fan who's got a really cool shirt of Norm all over it. Norman from his days on the Raptors and the Clippers and UCLA on the shirt. Actually, they didn't put any pictures of him on the Raptors. What are you doing? You got to include Raptors Norman on there. That's champion Norman Powell to you. Grady Dick showing the highlights from last night. There's a pass from Oshai and a nice 3 from the elbow. Very, very beautiful form going in. Here we go. There's Jamal Shed passing into Grady coming into near the free throw line. It bounces, shooters bounce off the front of the rim and the backboard in. Career high for Grady Dick, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Jacoby Walter is putting this scripture out this morning on Sunday. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. There you go. These guys are very grounded in faith, and this faith will get them through the tumultuous development time of losing on the Raptors to get to the other side where the good stuff is. That's right. Miles Burns is celebrating being on the 905 a lot. There's been a lot of people thanking him for that. Eric Smith is just an ad guy now. He's like Grady Dick. He's got all these ad things. He's putting on blast the 4th man in the fire pizza. He's saying so good. So it's like we've seen Eric Smith promoting Fisherman's Friend, just like Nick used to. And now he's telling y'all to go get this pizza from 4th Man in the Fire Pizza. There you go. I'm helping you, Eric. I'm extending it. I'm not getting any of the money you're getting from them, but I will help you. I will. Eric Smith, friend of the channel. He's also got Jamal Shed walking in the game with his little cutesy anime Kawhi. It's not Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi cute Japanese handbag, his rookie bag. Yeah, very, very cool. He's got a shirt that says too small on it, and it's got who is that? Oh, that's actually a teammate of his from Houston. It's doing the too small. Davion Mitchell talking to Bobby Jackson before the game on Friday night. Of course, Bobby Jackson is one of the main assistant coaches for Nick Nurse in Philadelphia. And Bobby Jackson was an assistant coach in Sacramento before he came and joined Nick last year. So Davion Mitchell was coached by Bobby Jackson his first couple years on the Sacramento Kings. Of course, yeah, Bobby Jackson is a great old vet in this league. Nice pictures from Davion Mitchell and warming up for the game against the Timberwolves last night, and him coming into the game last night, and yeah, doing dribbling stuff there. Let's see, who else we got? Garrett Temple has a fun little clip of his family at the Raptors game on Friday night. We see his daughter. She's got her fingers in her mouth, and the mom takes the finger out of the hand and kisses her on the cheek. Garrett has such a beautiful family. All 3 of them there. There's the 905 in the draft room. There's Drew Jones and Luke Wynn on their computers and getting it figured out for who they're going to draft. 905 draft day was yesterday, and they were putting in that work. And they called Tyler Perry and said hi on the phone to him, say, hey, we liked you this summer, and you're back, and we're happy to have you back. You got to come up here and get in the work. And can you get on a plane today? Is what Luke Wynn was asking Tyler Perry. Not that Tyler Perry. No, he's not bringing his entertainment company with him. You know what I mean. It's Tyler with an O, just so you know. That's right. But yeah, the 905 showing very transparently their draft process yesterday on their social medias. I appreciate that, Luke Wynn and Andrew Jones, and all the work you guys are doing. And they're welcoming Charles Pride from St. Bonaventure and Vance Jackson Jr. from the Salt Lake City G League team. So he was actually in the league last year. You know, the Knicks did something weird with the G League draft. They drafted Landry Shamet and Matt Ryan and the first 2 picks of the draft. They did this on purpose. They knew they'd have the first 2 picks in the G League draft this year, and they wanted to extend their roster. They're doing something fishy to keep Shamet around so that they can utilize him later in the year. But it's kind of very brilliant. Leon Rose has been doing some very interesting moves around the new apron rules and different things to help the Knicks in their building of their team. So he's been very, let's just say, creative. Let's just say he's creative. I don't know if they're going to close some loopholes because some of the shit the Knicks are doing these days, but they're being very creative with different things that they've been doing right now. And let's see, they're putting on blast Jamison Battle for his excellence on the Raptors already. He will be a prominent 905er for this year, our guy Battle. Jamal Shed posting a picture of action from last night in his Instagram. We got the JYD out there with the fans on his Instagram. Let's see. And Jamal McGlure was celebrating game day for the Raptors against the Timberwolves last night. All right, let's see. What else do I got? We have a birthday today, guys. And it's got our 6th man of the year. That's right. It is Lou Williams' birthday today. Happy birthday to Lou Will. That's right, Lou Will. We love Lou Will. 6th man Lou Will. Happy birthday to Lou Williams. And it was divulged recently in a podcast with DeMar DeRozan and Lou Will that it was very much a team goal of Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and the rest of the Raptors to help Lou Williams win that 6th man of the year he played for the Raptors, that they were very much all helping him as much as possible to try and get that accolade. Because honestly, Lou Williams had not won the 6th man. He got burned for it a few years in a row before that, and he finally got his first one here in Toronto. And in some ways, he appreciates Debo and Kalo for doing their part to help, and the rest of the Raptors were on that team at that time. People like, I believe that was like Patrick Patterson and Jonas Valanciunas, and people like that were on the team at that time to help Lou Williams get his 6th man of the year. So that was very, very cool. Y'all continue to please keep up with your fantasy teams. Today is the last day of the week, and if you're down 7-0, you better get going, Cool Cat, because you're down 7-0. Ta-da, Bradley. So y'all are not keeping up with your teams, and you are getting trounced by Andrew and Peter Saborin. So y'all get out there and play. Jason and I are tied right now 3-3. We'll see what happens the last day of the week. So play your Raptors Freak fantasy basketball teams, y'all. All right, I guess I got to do the classic card because we're almost there. Yeah, let's see. No. All right, I'm going to come back to the cutoff, and then we'll do this. All right, we're doing the classic card. I want to make sure I get everything done, and there's only 8 minutes till 2 hours. Oh, this is a cool card. Okay, this is interesting. All right, first person to write the full name answer gets the points for the classic card of the day. Who is that? Actually, that's pretty easy. Look at that card. It's an all-star card, Western All-Star. And can you tell who that is from where you can see right there? First person to write in will get the classic card points added to their trivia score. Glenn Rice. Interesting guess. Isaac, did Glenn Rice play in the Western Conference that much? Yeah, on the Lakers later, but did he ever get an all-star on the Lakers? He was an all-star for the Hornets and the Heat, but never for the Western Conference. Mitch Richmond, that's a better guess. That's the right conference, but that is not Mitch Richmond. You can't see who that is. I brought it up close, and now you can. Kevin Johnson is the right answer. Amari Parsons realizes this is the former mayor of Sacramento, Kevin Johnson, who has kind of been maligned in recent years for sexual harassment or sexual misdeeds. And in some ways, he's not celebrated in the NBA like he should be, honestly, as a great in the NBA, partly because of baggage and really seedy kind of shit. So, yeah, Kevin Johnson is the card, and Amari Parsons is getting it today. Let me write that in real quick on the classic card. I think David is here, though. Let me see. I'll put it in real quick, the name. And Omari got it. And that's 2 days in a row, Omari. Good job. I don't know. David, how many points you want to give him for that? You want to write that in? Is Kevin Johnson? I would say it's 100. It's 100 points. He's a pretty recognizable player. All these big dick deviants catching hell in 2024. 700 points. That's what you want? You guys don't make the points, all right? Sorry, meant to write not easy for the coach. No, I think that, listen, in some ways, it's so hard to be an NBA coach in this league. Obviously, the fans have turned on Darko, a lot of them already, idiots. But listen, he's doing the right things in the right way. I knew we had the right coach after the tumultuous year last year of transition, the wedgie year, where it's like, honestly, he could have lost a team at any point last year, but he didn't. We traded so many guys away. We had huge, crazy injuries, but the vibes at the end of the year were better than ever. And the encouragement and the feelings of like the future is bright were so much better at the end of the year. RJ Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, IQ, all these guys were saying, man, we feel so good about what's going on in Toronto, even though we just had a 25-win season. And that says a lot right there, that Darko has steered the ship through some of the choppiest, craziest tempests of storms last season. And the vibes and the connection and the infighting is not happening. You know, the Sixers look all fucked up, like with these kind of issues on their team. There's something wrong with them. They're broken. We are in good shape. The vibes are strong, and the cohesiveness is very, very important. Most saying, I kind of sad for your long stream days because I'm not here to help, but today I am. Yeah, I missed you yesterday because I was like, damn, Monique's not here, and I need her to cut me off. But they all came in and threw knives and axes into the chat after I said that. Yeah, but listen, also yesterday was special because it was the first back-to-back, and it was the first preview and reaction stream. And if we're really doing things correctly, I have to give 2 hours for both. So doing it in 3.5 hours yesterday was actually kind of good, considering I had to review the Sixers game and get set up for the Timberwolves. But Monique, this is part of why you're essential to my channel, is part of that. Yeah. Don't feel bad about it, though. Somebody else should step up in your place, and maybe like Isaac or somebody else that's around and help me with that if you aren't here. But I appreciate you so much, Mo. I love you. I love you very much. Kareem saying, as a Denver guy, the Nuggets are vulnerable. Their bench is depleted, and we should get this dub. Yeah, I like that attitude, Kareem. I think that could be very possible tomorrow. Mitch just saying, even though the Raptors lost, we battle back. Hopefully, RJ, IQ are back. Jacoby, I heard he'll be back in 1 or 2 days. Ooh, maybe we'll see Jacoby Walter make his debut as a Raptor against the Charlotte Hornets on Wednesday. That's definitely a winnable game. That's definitely a winnable game. Now think about it. We beat Denver somehow, some way, and then we beat the Charlotte Hornets. We're 3-2, guys. We have a winning record after 5 games, and nobody would have predicted that. Nobody would have predicted that. So we get a Nuggets team that's not exactly right now, and we take care of business against a Charlotte Hornets team that is very beatable for us. Yeah, we could be 3-2 by Wednesday night. And I'm all about that. That's right. That's right. Let's go. Brian's here. Tap, tap, tap for To The Point. My man, King, is here right now. What's up, Freak Nation? Glad to see the young guys trying hard, especially Dick. No pun intended, but he's proven me right. There you go. That's right. People that love Grady Dick, people that love Dick, you're so happy right now. All right, stop, Lex. Stop. You got to get done with the stream here. All right, Mike is saying, as the stream grows, there will be more comments. It wasn't your fault, Mo. More average viewers are watching the streams. This is true. We had a very high abundance of people watching, new people and the regulars. A lot of people that weren't here this summer have up, and they're coming back like Jimmy Pope. I love that so much. JP is back today. Yeah, that's a part of it. There's excitement about talking about the Raptors. We beat Nick Nurse, Kyle Lowry on Friday night. It's going to be a more popular stream, and it will take a little bit more time. And I'm like 2 minutes away from my cutoff right now. Mike saying Bodega Cat, laughing my fucking ass off. Yeah, exactly. That's what they're calling him. The Knicks Nation are choosing to call him Bodega Cat, and I think it's funny. Smooth saying the Raptors played really well, all these things considered. Take the incremental W's and losses. Yeah. I mean, we got to keep the big picture here, and we got to see the progress within the individuals, if not the whole group. And that is part of it right there. Mike saying Oshai needed some Darko magic. Grady got it last year during the season. We got to give guys chances to grow. There you go. Now, okay, yeah, I'm all about this. You're exactly right. Development coach Darko is having an effect on our Kansas Jayhawks. It is Meredith. Okay, MK, yep, it is Meredith. I'll definitely be there. I'm watching my first Raps game November 15th. Then first 9:05, you guys should be fun. If anyone's in Ottawa wants a ride, I have 4 open spots. Whoa, wow. Okay, listen. So Meredith's going to come from Ottawa to his first Raptors game, and he wants to come to the 9:05 game with us also. So it is MK. This will be awesome. We'll get to meet one of our Ottawa Raptor freaks and get to hang out with them. So December the 8th, y'all, we're going to mark this in stone right now. Westchester Knicks. This is the time to organize and get ready to try and go to that game. It'll be my first ever 9:05 game. It'll be a 2 p.m. start on a Sunday afternoon, which is a lot more manageable for different people in different ways. This is fantastic. So, MJ, Isaac, anybody who's around Ottawa, Jillian wants to come, and Meredith's saying there's a room in the car. So, jump on in. I love this so much, Meredith. And oh man, I'm gonna give you big time dunks because honestly, I am so happy that I might get to meet you finally coming up. So you're getting a 10-pointer, 21 for you, my guy. You got 21. You got that old Dominique Wilkins. Look at that. Monique saying John Batove was on the Fan 590 talking about his upbringing for hoops in his backyard, etc. His daughter recently got married. I saw that in the post you made. Very, very cool to see John Batove at the Raptors opening night game on Wednesday against the Cavs with Damon Stoudemire. It's a fantastic picture. And in some ways, I'm glad we've talked about him on this channel this summer and celebrating his part and the reason why the Raptors exist. And seeing him at the game, and it just warms my heart because in some ways, John Batove Jr. is everything for why the Raptors exist. And in some ways, in the 30th anniversary of the Raptors franchise, we need to start where it starts. And it starts with that man's idea and him making it happen for us. So thank you, John Batove, from the deepest bottom of my heart. You are a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing every day, my guy. Seriously, you're the beginning of it, man. And congratulations to her recent nuptials. How about that? Smooth saying Grady is going to be really good. The way he moves without the ball, the other intangibles, high IQ player. That's right. That's right. I agree with all that. Mike saying Oshai's years on other teams isn't Raptors development, so his previous years in the NBA aren't the same. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, he was used weird by the Jazz. He was used weird by the Jazz for a little while there. And most saying the 15th, Meredith, I'm there too. There you go. So she'll be at that Raptors game on the 15th of November. So that's great. That's fantastic. Hopefully you can run into Monique while you're there, MK. That'd be awesome. So he's saying, I compared Oshai to Stanley Johnson, and it's still a valid comparison, but he does a couple of things better. He cuts better, and he has a corner three-point shot. You know, when you compare Stanley Johnson to Ochai Agbaji, I don't take that as a slight because I see what Stanley Johnson should have been if Detroit had not dropped the ball with his development, and their player build and their skills are similar. And that's why that comparison is valid, very much valid. But it's the difference is dropping the ball on a player's development and not getting him going in the right direction in his very early formative years. And that was the issue with Stanley. That was the issue with Stanley right there. Yeah, Mike saying Shamshe is so big, the little pink bag could only hold like one Shamshe sock. Laugh out loud. I'm all about seeing more of Ulrich, but all within good time. That's right. So he's saying he seems more in control than Johnson ever was. That's saying a lot considering Stanley was a lottery pick. Yeah, Oshai was pretty high pick too. We got to remember that. Mike saying Oshai has more IQ than Stanley, which gives me more belief that he will work through things. Yeah, that may be true too, that Oshai's a little bit smarter up here. Let's see. Smooth saying, as long as Oshai stays in his lane, he will be very useful for Toronto. Yeah, I think that he's getting along really well with Scotty. Obviously, he's very bonded with Grady. And I think that he's getting more and more trust. He makes more of those threes, he'll get even more trust. Trust me. Mike's saying he's like OG Light. If he can get that corner three, we're good. Yep. I won't disagree with anything that Smooth and Mike are saying in this little section about Agbaji. I was suspect when Utah gave up on Agbaji, but maybe that's just my ignorance, not watching the Utah games, maybe not knowing their roster well. We got to understand Jazz have kind of been retooling and kind of moving everything out. They traded Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, and they've kind of been really kind of cycling through, trying to figure out their young core. And in some ways, they wanted to do that deal with us, and Kelly and Oshai came to us. So I don't know. Danny Ainge is in charge in Utah, and he's trying to redo the Jazz in all kinds of different ways right now. I mean, he got rid of Mike Conley. He got rid of Gobert. He got rid of Donovan Mitchell. And Agbaji just not fitting into a scheme of things. Well, that in some ways, I could see that. And he's maybe more focused on other people like Kessler and other people like that. So G saying, anyone watching the WNBA, Fever just fired their coach. Almost 40% of the coaches have been fired. That's crazy. That's crazy. I did not know that. Let's see. Mike saying, I think Utah has a lot of different things going on at the moment. Danny Ainge has been loading up and looking to sell. Oshai's place wasn't defined, and he wasn't able to get any traction. Yeah, that's a pretty good assessment of what I was trying to say just now. And yeah, that's about right. Candy Kush is here. Let's see what Candy's saying. We need a real superstar in the draft. Bams is not it. You mean Barnes is not it. He's just a good play piece. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that in some ways, Scotty Barnes is like a Magic Johnson, and RJ Barrett is like a James Worthy. And when RJ comes back, Scotty is not going to be like a dominant player, like in the way that like Anthony Edwards is. He's going to be a dominant player in the fact that, and in fact, we saw this last night, Candy Kush. Did you see some of the amazing passes Scott was throwing every which way? He was seeing some crazy stuff that nobody else sees on the court, and that's Irvin Johnson. And in some ways, that's a special player. And don't come in here with this slander. Seriously, you're going to say we need a real superstar? Fuck that, Candy Kush. You're a newer person, and we don't take this kind of shit here. We're positive Raptors fans, and we stand with Scott. We know that number 4 is our superstar, and he is a bona fide superstar. And you're going to find out more and more as it comes. You don't have to believe in him, but I believe in this guy, number 4. Because honestly, he's got the whole package. Some nights he can be a passing point guard kind of forward. Some nights he can be that dominant, I'm taking to the hoop and I'm scoring almost 30 or over 30 every time. You know what will happen is, Candy Kush, you're going to see Scotty get a 40-point game, and you bet, yeah, he's a superstar. That's what's going to happen this year. You're going to see it. Scotty said this summer, he said, man, my high is only like 30-something points. My career high? No, that's got to change. So he's going to be coming to take a higher career average points, a higher career point total, like Grady did last night, getting 25. Smooth saying, looks like Brendan Carlson will be on the 905. Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, in some ways he's sad because he didn't make the team outright, but the path is still there, Brendan. So get that weight room and lift those weights and show up for 905 and be a badass on that level. And who knows, things could be possible down the road for you to still make the big team in certain ways. So Carlson, you're not out of it completely. You may have lost your two-way, but you know what? If you're on 905, this is going to be awesome. I love this. Yeah. MK saying, oh, nice, Mo. If I see you, I'll make sure to say hi. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I could tell you the section where Mo is usually, and you could go see her. And Mo's telling me to go rest, and Isaac's got my cutoff too. All right, let's just go on a rundown once again real quick. My 3 stars of the game, and this may surprise you guys, were Grady Dick, Ochai Agbaji, and Bruno Fernando. Yeah, I actually picked Bruno to be the 3rd star last night. He just in some ways did different things that I really appreciated in the game last night on the down low. And that's about it. I don't have really anything else to say. Oh, there's a little thing you guys posted. Posted a clip saying that the Sixers are the worst coach team in the NBA. I mean, this dude was considered one of the top 5 coaches in the league in the GM coaches poll recently. Now, all of a sudden, he's getting called the worst coach in the league. Holy crap, man. Holy crap. Yeah. Yeah, MK, send a message to Monique, and she'll help you find her at the game later next month. All right, guys, thanks for watching me today. Tomorrow, we'll have a preview of the game against Denver and Nikola Jokic and the crew, Jamal Murray, that kid from Kitchener. I'll have all the latest lineup news. I'll have the referee report with the crew and seeing how they kind of favor which team. We'll see what's up. Yeah, please keep joining me. I appreciate everybody. Once again, thanks again for the recent milestone of 1,000 subscriptions. It's a huge, huge big deal to me, and it means so, so much. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Get out there and touch grass. Like I said, raptorize your day like Nat Bhatia would, and just be grateful and thankful for what you have in your life, like Trevor J said at the beginning of the stream. All right, let's go, Raptors. You guys are getting better and better. And you know what? It may not necessarily be about these right now. It's about the small victories. And we're going to get more and more of them as time goes on. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptor Freak family. I appreciate and love every single one of y'all. Let's go to the game.